What is going on? Don't Unfriend Me Nation. We are officially, let's see, 1 day, 23 hours, 56 minutes, 2 days. What is that? 2 sleeps?
Yes.
2 sleeps. Not a bad thing. We will have the May 16th show. Everyone has confirmed 100%. Everyone's going to be here. From Laura Logan, Roseanne Barr, Chris Tonto, Peranto, T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Ryan Samuels, Lisa Regina, Jason Shepard, Barry Morgenstein, everybody. They're all going to be here. We are super stoked. I get to work a little bit on the graphics tomorrow in the transition windows and then run some tests. Now is the time to get your questions in. If you're going to get your questions in, now's the time.
Got my first email with questions today.
Good. Tomorrow is the cutoff. If you have not had a chance to send a physical donation, that's fine. You can still use a credit card. You can still use a debit card. You can do that on Venmo and PayPal, but only those donations that we receive by tomorrow will be counted. Unfortunately, we might check. Actually, we can check Friday morning too.
Oh yeah, I'll check Friday afternoon. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So Friday, but if you're going to send it in, it's got to go in. Since we have some people on the West Coast, it's got to go in today in order to get here all the way to the East Coast. Usually takes 2 days. So, but either way, we appreciate you. Can't wait to have you. We have a good show tonight. A lot of stuff. It's just me and Olivia. I have given the other hosts the week off because Friday is going to be plenty of time for everybody. Paul, hello from Texas. We'll see you guys in just a few. Certainly appreciate you saying happy birthday to people, but it'd be nice if you allowed the host to actually do it so they could know that we care enough to remember and know. Not a big deal, but it's kind of important to me. Thanks. Must be somebody's there.
Howdy, y'all. This is Damani Felder. These are perilous times in American history, and now more than ever, we need individuals who are willing to wage war on the ideological battlefield with like-minded individuals. And I can think of no better place to start than my friends at the Don't Unfriend Me show. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the show.
The DUM Show, May 16th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. One goal, one night, one chance. Chris Peranto, Laura Logan, Roseanne Barr, Jason Shepard, T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Ryan Samuels, Lisa Regina. One night only. The race to 20K is on. Be part of it.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media
just remembered
channels
the
at
exact
The
answer.
Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What?
I said I just remembered the exact answer of the question you just asked. So
That's okay. I don't care. I just, as long as I know.
yes, everything's good.
Yeah, everything. She's okay. Because I haven't seen her in forever.
She's in sunny Cali right now.
Oh. So
I
she
think
might not
business.
be. She might not be okay.
Yeah, I think business. I think. I don't remember. She said something at the beginning of the week, and I just can't remember exactly.
Awesome. Happy birthday, Amy Bordeaux. It
Yes,
was right
happy
on the top of
birthday.
our list, but
It
I guess
was.
it's not important for the host to say happy birthday. Whatever. Happy birthday. Now that it's all done. Should we go? Yep.
You could say.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't.
Just kidding. Happy birthday, Amy. We adore you and love you and want to hug you and squeeze you and keep you forever and ever. Happy birthday. And we try to remember everybody's birthday who lets us know it's their birthday. Some people don't want birthday messages. I get that completely. But yeah, happy birthday. Does a great job for us being a moderator, funny, witty, and slightly intoxicated when she calls in, I think.
I don't even know if she's on yet.
That's okay. She can play it back. She'll watch the replay.
I'll let you know when she comes on though.
Howie, welcome back, buddy. Good to see you here. Yeah, we've got a couple days. You can still sing? No. It's the moment's dead. It's we had it all planned out. We had Still Point live via satellite, and
Birthday candles
and cake
and
and party favor, but it's ruined. Nice job, Stancombe. Friday, have a huge show. By the way, as far as goal, we usually talk. We did not hit it last night. Second time in a year that we haven't hit it, which we'll take that. And I know everyone's pinching pennies for tomorrow, but we still got to hit goal because we still got to pay for the show. But we got a lot happening. Let's just talk. Are you a little nervous?
yes.
What do you?
Absolutely. I'm nervous.
What are you nervous about? Do you think?
Just meeting everyone. Am I going to be a complete dork or?
That's a given.
I mean, half of them I've met, but I mean, freaking Roseanne Barr. And what is that? That's you. That's all.
It's got to be Messenger open. Yep, it is.
Roseanne Barr and Lara Logan and Tonto. I mean,
yeah. Well, Tonto's going to be easy.
I'm sure you guys are going to get along great because you're both military.
Yeah, but Tonto is laid back, and it's so funny because Barry is like, are you going to let me say hi to him and talk to him? And I'm like, yes, I'll put you both in there. Then Amy's like, do you just want me to come over to your house and do this? And I'm like, well, that wouldn't be bad. We could set her up a station.
Where would we put her?
Oh, there's room. Just out there. I just have to build a set. That's not hard. I just have to run an audio cable out there, which I've done before for Mike, and put her in here. That's easy. I can put her on this camera. I'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just not sure yet. But love to have her here because it would not interrupt and it would be smooth. Oh my God, what is that? Liv.
I don't know. All you.
Do you have Messenger open?
It's always open, but my computer's muted as far as sound. And I don't have the plug-in anymore because remember it stopped.
All right, I'm going to Do Not Disturb. See if that works. So we're excited. It's it's a little crazy because we're trying to balance everything out. We got all the times. I've got the schedule. Do you guys want the schedule? I think that's probably a good idea for you to have the schedule. Who wants the schedule? I mean,
I do. Me, I do.
Who wants a mustache
Exactly.
ride? Okay, so schedule is this. And this doesn't mean, I kind of want to not tell everyone the schedule. because then they have to be here the whole time. Should I do that? Or should I tell them the schedule?
Just tell them the schedule.
Jason Shepard and Lisa Regina will be here from 6 to 6:30. And the reason why I partnered them together is because of, her 501c3 right to heal and Jason, the fentanyl testing. I thought it'd be really good for them to kind of kick us off and know that the 5 hours is going to be focused on fentanyl awareness and addiction and PTS and TBIs and really kind of bring that to the forefront about veterans. And Laura Logan is extremely well versed on it. So is Roseanne Barr. And Tonto can bring the element with his foundation when it comes to vets. And Damani can bring that element as well. And not a veteran, but definitely somebody who understands what veterans are going through. So can Ryan Samuels. So and Barry works with veterans and also has been impacted by fentanyl and overdoses. So it's going to be a good show, well balanced, and those are really going to be the themes. And I want to focus on those. It's Friday night, not tomorrow. Nope, it's the 16th.
Which is Friday night, because you said tomorrow night. But that's okay.
Says it's Friday, right? Not tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm busy.
Your brain is
I'm busy.
doing a million different things.
That's absolutely right. So Jason Shepard, Lisa Regina will start off. And Lisa Regina is an actress, but also a philanthropist and CEO of A Right to Heal, which leverages veterans' abilities to use words and putting them into context on paper to cope with, PTS, TBIs, and obviously the issues that arise from service. And she's a darling. She was in Sopranos, is that correct?
She was in a couple episodes of Soprano. She
The answer was
played
yes.
yes.
Okay, I'm just asking. Is it yes?
Yes.
Good. And go ahead. Which episodes was she in?
It was in the episode Two Tonys when Tony Soprano's cousin Steve Buscemi gets out of jail. He plays Kim, his wife.
Yep.
Or she plays Kim,
Yep.
Buscemi's wife.
Yep. And yeah, she's in the scene where he's building the spa and the massage parlor and everything. And then she wound up marrying, if I'm not mistaken,
I think they
Pussy.
just dated. They just dated.
Oh, that she dated Pussy though.
Yes. The
Okay.
actor who played Pussy, yes.
Don't get upset, folks, but that's his name.
That's his name in the show.
Name's Pussy. Okay, so and she's been some other things. She's fantastic. She's a beautiful woman. I mean, we're about some of the best looking women. And let's face it, Roseanne Barr is not a bad looking woman for her age and what she's gone through. She actually looks better now than when she was younger. She's lost a lot of weight. She's taking care of herself. Her hair is awesome. She dresses up well. She's a beautiful lady. So, but Laura Logan is just drop dead gorgeous. Lisa Regina is beautiful. And then let's not forget Olivia and Amy. So it's gonna be a great night. Full panel.
And we're somewhat dressing up.
I'm just put on a shirt and a jacket. I just think it's out of respect, right? I mean, if you're going to give me and us the ability to have a new studio, I'm at least going to be dressed for the occasion. I'm not going to put on a tux, but I'll just have a shirt and a jacket. T.S. Dixon will be here. Oh, I forgot T.S. Dixon. My God, what a lineup. How could I forget T.S.? He crushed it. And he is such a good balance between understanding history and understanding the woke left and how that impacted fentanyl, how it's impacted the veteran community. So he's going to be amazing.
I don't think you went through the whole lineup. You just did Jason and Lisa Regina, and that's it. You kind of stopped.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay.
So, patience. I mean, seriously. Did you, how, I don't understand. We started off with Jason.
Because you're like, how could I forget T.S. Dixon? I was
because I didn't mention him that he was going to be here and talking about it, So T.S. Dixon's going to be here too, and I forgot about it. Anyway, 6 to 6:30, Jason Shepard and Lisa Regina will be here. Oh, I'll just put this up so you guys can screenshot it. You know what I mean? I mean, why not be the nice guy? And you guys can read along. So T.S. Dixon will be here 6:30 to 7 p.m. From there, it'll be 7 to 7:30, Barry Morgenstein. And then right after that, Chris Peranto comes on. And Chris and Barry are friends. So they're obviously going to love seeing each other. So we're going to put them on together. And that gives us 1 hour. I mean, he's really right in the middle of the show. He's kind of the mainliner, even though Roseanne Barr and Lara Logan and everyone else is amazing. And if I just didn't feel right asking Roseanne and Laura, as busy as they are, and I know Chris is extremely busy too, but we had no clue we were going to get all these people. So I gave Chris an hour booking, and then I had to like shave off of everybody else in order to get everybody in. So Roseanne Barr will be here right after Chris Peranto. That's just awesome. And I have a feeling a lot of the guests are going to be like, "Hey, can I stay real quick and meet that person?" Hell yes, you can. And
Yeah,
then,
we're doing Zoom, so we can have how many callers?
right. Yeah, we can have up to 300. So 300 people on. Damani Felder, he's got a full booking from 9 to 10. And I wanted to give Damani a full hour. He's just worth it. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. I love the guy, and I know he's black, but we can't hold that against him. Laura,
Are you gonna play Dre's new or Ye's new song when he comes?
oh yeah, it's funny. It's like it's going to be a dyslexic Oreo, a whole bunch of white people, then a black guy, and then so usually the cream filling goes on the inside, but here it's 2 cream fillings and 1 cookie. So it's not a very diverse panel. I feel really bad. Well, Ryan Samuels is a Marine, so we have the short bus represented on our panel, so that's good. We have a good, healthy balance of women and men, which is all that should matter. It shouldn't matter about color, should it? Listen, we got our racial quota in. We're DE.
Yeah,
we got our
DEI standards.
We got our DEI. I'm going to send this to Damani. Like, listen to Olivia being racist. She wants to know if you're going to sing Hail Hitler, and God, she says you're a DEI hire. Then we've got Lara Logan, which this is one that's, listen, Tonto is, like, from a career perspective and just a respect perspective, but Lara Logan, man, that woman has been through things that I can't even remotely begin to comprehend. And the fact that she still has the light in her eyes just is amazing, and I just cannot wait to hear her. And this is probably the one we don't talk to. We just let her talk because she is amazing. And honestly, I don't want to get embarrassed because she is a professional. Then Ryan Samuels will be here, our bearded friend. And you know what? It feels good because he was one of our first guests ever. So to have Ryan here and have him come back and close the show, it has special meaning because I really, really like Ryan a lot and care about him. So this is something I think we're going to do annually. And I think once we get our studio set, hopefully by next year, we'll be in a position where we won't need to do this, but we can give the money to a foundation. How nice would it be to cut a $20,000 check to Travis Mannion or Chris's, or Right to Heal or somewhere else? I mean, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yes.
Yeah. Howie says, I'm a disabled viewer with autism, so you also have the autistic community. Oh, no, that's why we brought Barry. So we're good. We have a Jew, too. So we're good. We got everybody.
Did you just say Barry was autistic?
Yeah. I talked to him today. He's such a loving guy.
Well, we've got Yenny. Yenny joins the show. And
Yenny is totally autistic.
Hayden calls her the autistic furball.
Yeah. Well, let's do me a favor, folks. Let's get this shared as quickly as we can. By the way, gold tonight is on the board, thedumshow.com/donate. If everyone on right now donated $5, look, it's almost perfectly. Look at this. If everyone donated $5, we would. I can't even do the numbers.
I don't know how many people are on. So.
If everyone did $5, it'd be $4,500.
Oh, jeez.
So so if 10% of that, we hit goal. So let's see what we can do, right? Let's see what we can do. All right, so let's crush this. We've got a big show tonight, and honestly, I got a lot of work to do. So I've got, just to let you know, I have to write questions, at least in my head, for the guests. So I've got about 10 hours of video to watch, and I've got about 5 to 6 hours of reading to do, in order to make sure I really understand our guests. And it's something I do. So I've put this off on purpose because I want to be fresh. But we also have a very exciting guest coming the week.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, why don't you tell them? I mean, they're coming out of the woodwork, folks.
I know.
This is insane. And we still have somebody else we're trying to book. I mean, this is incredible.
His name, I've got to learn how to pronounce the last name.
Go ahead, I'll help you.
His name is Paul Karafotis. Carafotes?
Spell it.
Carafotes? Carafotes.
Carafote.
Carafote? It's got an S on the end.
Yeah, I think it's silent.
You know what? I'm going to have to email her and ask her to pronounce his last name so I don't mess it up. But yeah, just confirmed him. He'll be on next Wednesday. He is an actor. He has been in a lot of things. His main role, he was in Knots Landing. He was Harold Dyer.
Dude, it was like Dallas and Knots Landing.
Knots Landing,
Falcon
but
Crest was also
he
great.
was in Fight Club.
We don't talk about Fight Club. It's the first rule. What are you
Exactly.
doing?
So, no.
Can't do that.
So
Spell it again.
Carafotes.
Oh, the extra A was throwing me off. It's Carafoots.
Carafotes.
Carafoots.
Got it. So yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, but the main thing he does now is he has a series of children's books called Charlie's Bubbles, The
So
Adventures of Charlie's Bubbles. And I won't go into the main of how that started. He can go into that, but it's
But just
really
give us
cool.
a teaser.
He wrote it for his kid when his son was younger, because all the books he was reading his son to get him to love reading just didn't hold the values that he wanted to teach his son. And so he wrote a book. And it just started with that. And then I guess when Charlie got a little older, they were doing an event or something. And he was just a younger kid. And they were, because they like to donate the books to underprivileged. And what he did is he took one of his books and gave it to a little boy, because the little boy wanted to buy a book and his dad said, we don't have the money. So Charlie gave it to him.
Shut up, Annie.
And there started the foundation. So they have the Charlie Bubbles Foundation.
Yeah, and you know, Charlie Bubbles, going back to Sopranos, sounds like somebody you would whack, you know. I'm going to go ahead and get Charlie Bubbles, you know, but...
And he sounds like such a nice guy, because...
Tell him what they did. Tell him what they did for us.
I'm going to.
Well, you're taking too long, Olivia.
Excuse me, long-winded.
I was like, that's not what I was expecting. I heard long, and I'm like, yeah. And then winded, I'm like, oh. So I have two.
I
Okay.
was talking to his assistant, and I just said, I was like, do you know if his books are in all libraries? I'm like, because I'm a nanny as my day job, and I take my kids to the library several times a week for story time and stuff. And she goes, you know, I'm not sure. And I said, okay, cool. And she wrote me back like an hour later and said, Paul wants to send you the entire set of books for free. What's your address? And I'm like, holy cow. And he got them out in the mail that day. So we should have them in the next couple of days. But I was like, that's so cool. He sent the whole thing.
Yeah.
And and he's got another book that's coming out this summer as well.
So it's just cool. I mean, kids' books, something we can relate to, because we're all kids at heart. So we're excited. We're going to try to continue every week to have a guest. And now that we're starting to do this, you know, and I know this is taking a while, folks, but this is going to happen once. This isn't going to happen a bunch of times. You know, this is a one-time thing, and we're excited, and we're talking about it. We know we're taking an entire half hour of the show. We'll stay on late for it, but we're pretty pumped up. Liv, I know we got some donations in there, so if you want to pound those out real quick, we just want to keep the train rolling and get to.
We do?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Am I not getting the emails? Okay, there it is. It just didn't show up for a minute. Okay. Got it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the train rolling. I'm like, yes,
No,
yes, we want to keep the
I'm
train
talking
rolling.
about, I hadn't seen the emails
I understand.
yet.
I'm a little slow.
And then I was like, because I didn't get that email last night for that one donation. So I'm like, is something starting to happen where I'm not seeing all the emails?
Right.
So
let's talk about this while Olivia is pounding these out. You can just put them up, Liv.
Okay.
A lot of people have probably seen this. And Bobby Richardson donated $21.10 just to start. Love you. We love you too, Bobby. Thanks for doing that for us. Matt, Howie hasn't seen Ash. Can you show him at least a picture? Sure. Well, why don't you just go ahead and spoil the surprise and show it? You know, because you're already on a roll with birthdays. So.
oh boy.
I love you. Love you. Do we have a picture of our Dum Doogie? Hey, what did Chad say about the tree? You didn't check your texts. Never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't have a text.
Here is a picture. It's coming up.
I'm like, I don't know what.
Yeah, you do. Just we'll do it later. This is Ash.
Oh, I'm looking hot.
You look great there. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Look smoking. That's Ash. That's our beautiful puppy Ash, who is literally bigger than Olivia now. Well, all except the booty. She
got a booty.
shouldn't have the booty. Okay, so listen, I want to put this to rest because I want to, first of all, I want to give some credit to someone who I think follows us. Sandra Edwards, donate $5.65. We are all going to have a great night. Thank you, Matt and Olivia. No, it's our pleasure, Sandra. Thank you. Dave Bondi, who is, I believe, a journalist, independent journalist, but he may be associated with somebody else. I don't know. I follow him. He seems like a nice guy, very sharp. I'm going to give him credit because I wrote an article and then literally once I was ready to post it, it popped up. And I was going to put this to bed. Minneapolis and state leaders prepare for possible Derek Chauvin pardon. Now, listen to it specifically. Minnesota or Minneapolis and state leaders prepare for possible Derek Chauvin pardon. Now, what does that immediately tell you when you see this, Olivia? Is there something, just all the things that come to mind? And there should be a bunch of things that come to mind. Riots, right.
There's going to be massive riots.
Let's keep it slow. Riots is number one. What's the second thing in that headline you think of?
Possible, so it may not happen.
Right, okay. But was he charged with federal or state crimes?
I don't know.
Both.
Okay.
And those are concurrent terms, which means that he has like 20.5 years and then 21.5 state, 20.5 federal. Don't quote me. It's something to that effect. And he is serving his federal sentence now. And then if there's any remaining state time, he'll be responsible to serve that. And he will go to a state institution. It's my understanding that he was stabbed like 20 plus some odd times when he was in state prison and survived. And they've moved him to a federal prison at this point. It's higher security, a little bit different type of criminal. So they've moved him. So that's the first thing you think of. What else? Or second thing? There's something in here that's really important. The biggest word out of everything is massive. What is it?
Pardon?
Pardon. So who can pardon?
The president.
And?
I would think the governor.
Okay, so the governor. So immediately when you hear state leaders, you're thinking of
governor.
Governor whom? Minnesota.
That's Walz?
Yeah, Tim Walz. So you're doing great. You got Tim Walz. He's a governor. They're not preparing because Tim Walz has no plans on doing this. So what does that mean? Let's think about that for a second. What does it mean if he has state and federal crimes? What does it mean if they're preparing for a pardon? Just walk through the process. Just start talking. What does it mean?
I have
if they're okay.
No idea.
If they're who can pardon? Let's do it again. Who can pardon?
The president and the governor.
Okay, great. And if they're preparing for a pardon, and we know damn well that Walz is not going to pardon Derek Chauvin, what do we know?
That's where I'm confused.
Well, yeah, I know. So let's do it again. I'm not going to give it to you. We need to do this together to help the audience understand who can pardon.
The governor and the president.
Is the governor going to pardon?
No.
Who can pardon?
Trump's going to pardon.
Okay. So because we know that because they're preparing for what?
A pardon.
Perfect. So the only person who can pardon him is?
The president.
Okay, but he has what type of crimes?
He's got federal and state.
And what does it mean with the president when it comes to pardoning?
He can only pardon federal.
There you go.
So he's going to stay in jail for his state.
This is a lie. This is bullshit fake news. And Dave Bondi caught it, and so did I, because we know this is a lie. The only reason they're saying this is to go ahead and hype up tension. They know what happens in the summer. People get hot, crime goes up, people get hangry and upset and frustrated, and it's prime time for a white cop to shoot a black kid. So let's start stoking the fire. Let's start saying that Trump is going to go ahead and pardon Derek Chauvin so we can have Summer of Love 2.0. Because what's better than having illegals that no longer are here? Let's have riots. Let's show unrest. Let's have another 2016 and 2020 style situation, 2019 style situation, where we want to create as much dissension, and as much conflict as humanly possible. So this was written by Dave Bondi. Want to give him credit. You can go over there and subscribe on his page, which is davebondi.substack.com. He's a good guy. And it says, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And it's hilarious because I wrote almost word for word the exact same thing. Great minds think alike. And I'm giving him all the credit. Trump is going to do it. Trump can't do it. And Trump said he's not going to do it. Trump says he has no idea what people are talking about. He hasn't even looked at it. So when he was asked about Derek Chauvin, Trump completely denied it and said, I haven't even looked at it.
Don't presidents usually wait till the end of their term to pardon?
Usually. It depends if they have to do a commuted sentence or whatever. But nobody has alluded to that he's going to pardon Chauvin. So this is all bullshit. This is all an anonymous source. And now it's all over because ABC ran with this, a local affiliate. Everyone is. This is over Daily Wire now. It's over on BBC. It's on AP. It's on the Huffington. It's on the New York Post, New York Times. So this is how and why nobody trusts the government. This is why nobody trusts the media. Because just a simple, basic understanding of Civics 101 can give you the answer to this, that this is bullshit. It says, the ABC affiliates in Minneapolis recently published a story with the headline, Minneapolis and state leaders prepare for possible Derek Chauvin pardon. The problem is the article is based on an unnamed source and speculation. KSTP cites unnamed sources claiming that Governor Tim Walz, the Minnesota National Guard, Mayor Jacob Frey, blah, 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 have all been briefed on preparations for possible civil unrest if Donald Trump pardons former police officer Derek Chauvin. After KTSP published the story, it quickly went viral as other media picked it up. As you can see, MSNBC, Law and Crime, Minnesota Post, Star Tribune. But there's a glaring issue. There is no indication that President Trump is planning to pardon Chauvin. In fact, the article itself acknowledges this. When asked by reporters at the White House in March about the possibility of a pardon, Trump responded, "No, I have not heard about that." Despite this clear statement, the article is built largely on speculation and anonymous sources with little confirmed on-the-record information. Conservative commentator in March 25, Shapiro did launch a petition urging President Trump to pardon Chauvin, arguing can you ever close our door, please?
Yes.
Close our door, please! Chauvin arguing the former officer was unjustly convicted due to media bias, political pressure, and disputed cause of George Floyd's death. Shapiro promoted the petition on his podcast, social media, and the website pardonderek.com. A petition from a private citizen is far from official action by the president. They also quoted Walz, no indication whether they're going to do it or not, but I think it behooves us to be prepared for it. With this presidency, it seems like something they would do. He should also prepare for possibly being pregnant in the future, considering that men can get pregnant. Definitely something he wants to do. Use protection. Publishing a story based largely on assumptions and unnamed sources, especially one that could stoke public tension and possible violence, is irresponsible, Bondi says.
If riots do happen, can Trump post National Guard or anything outside by the riots to help calm them down?
That's a really good question, and we can talk about that. Judy says, then how could Biden pardon all those people? Because those are federal crimes. So Hunter Biden, tax evasion and a felony gun charge is federal. Anything else that he had, he'll get plead down or ultimately be thrown out of court. It does not stop you from being civilly tried or criminally tried from a state. But you have to independently prove that those crimes were state rules and violations and laws that were broken. So Donald Trump cannot pardon Derek Chauvin. He can pardon his federal sentence, and then he goes into Gen Pop in state and is probably going to get murdered. So I don't think Derek Chauvin wants that. I think what Derek Chauvin wants is pressure from the White House to push onto Walz for a commuted sentence, and that's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Derek Chauvin will get off for good behavior, maybe. Maybe his sentence will be lenient upon. There's not an appeal process going on right now, I don't believe so. But maybe he will get off time for good behavior. There'll be clemency given, but not from the federal government. The federal government removes his federal charges. He goes to state, and he's going to get killed. So Honestly, I bet if you asked his lawyer, it would be to, speak on his behalf to reduce his sentence. It's not going to happen. And Donald Trump cannot interfere with state laws and policies. It's what the 10th Amendment's for. And good, because I don't want him to. And whether you think Chauvin is innocent or guilty or Floyd died of an overdose, I don't care. None of that is it's all immaterial. He was found guilty of murder. Was it politically motivated? Absolutely. The sentencing was.
Oh, yeah.
The sentencing was politically motivated. We understand that. And you know what? That's just absolutely 100% factual. However, the preponderance of evidence demonstrates that he did sit on a man's neck for an extended period of time, who was in handcuffs, who did not follow protocol. All not good things. And I don't care about any of that. The only thing I care about is that this is fake news. And this is just to drum up drama. It's to drum up hate and dissent. So people riot and start the conversation about this. Because when Trump's doing everything right, there's nothing better than to get him to do something wrong. And he needs to stay out of this. I don't believe he needs to get involved.
Sandra has a good question, and I'm actually thinking the same thing. Are his sentences together? Does he have to serve 20 years in federal and then go to
No.
state and serve? It's
No, it's concurrent, which
Okay.
means that essentially they are
served at the same time.
well, yeah, but that's not the word I'm looking for. They are parallel of each other. So they will it's two different tracks with one train. Left track, right track, but the train gets to the same destination, the same spot.
Got it.
Yes, they're together.
Okay.
So if there's anything remaining on the state, now here's the thing: if he is let off for good behavior from a federal level, he'll still have the state charges to answer for. This is why this is all bad for him. It's all bad. There's no good news for Derek Chauvin, and this is why we don't politically target people. Yep. Yes, it does depend how the judgment reigns, but this is served concurrently, not consecutively. Jen McCarver donated $50 for the love of the show, you guys, and our DUM family. Thank you, Jen. Good to see you here tonight. I hope you're going to be here Friday. I'm not going to allow you not to. Got to be here. So consecutive terms are you serve your first sentence and you serve the second. These are concurrent. So like we said, same time. Derek Chauvin's not going to be pardoned anytime soon. I don't see that taking place. And honestly, I've said it again, and I'll say it one more time. If he does, it's probably going to get Derek Chauvin killed. So my thoughts are he was sentenced in 2020?
Was President Trump still in his first term?
Look it up. I know when the Summer of Love was, but we're actually looking for the sentencing of Chauvin. When was he sentenced? I want to say it was 2020. Prayers to James, Maureen, and Mel. Why? Why
James Cody has pneumonia.
why are we being treated like mushrooms?
What do you mean?
Why being fed shit and kept in the dark?
Well, James Cody, he just came on. He's got pneumonia. It's kicking his ass.
You
is
got to
what he
tell
just
me this
said.
stuff, please.
It just popped up.
James, I wish you the very, very best and health. I'm
And
so sorry to hear that.
Marine Flood has been having some serious health issues lately. That's why she hasn't been on much. She's been keeping in touch with me and let me know. And then Mel, of course, her arm.
Okay. All right.
2021.
Yeah, okay, so like I said, 2020,
So
2021.
June 25th, 2021 for state, July 7th, 2022 for federal.
Yep, okay. All right, so right now he has served 3 years. He's probably going to have to do 7 to 9 before he's even up for parole. I don't even know what the parole conditions are. So you can look that up. Just put Derek Chauvin, state and federal crimes. When's the possibility of parole? So James, I hope you feel better. Carrie, I know you're not feeling well. I hope you feel better too. Maureen, of course, I hope you feel better. And Mel with her arm. Maureen Flood had an accident right before the show. Oh my God, I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, we got to like, guys, I don't reach like chat anymore. I don't have time. So you got to just tell me. Just send me a message, private message. Send me a text. Let me know these things. And Amy, I know you always tell me. I'm just busting balls. But
Okay, expected to become eligible for parole sometime between 2035 and 2036 when he is around 60 years old. His parole would occur after serving his concurrent state and federal sentences. He is currently serving 22 and a half years state sentence for second-degree murder and 21-year federal sentence for blah, blah, blah.
right. So I am dyslexically. Is he in a state prison right now or federal prison?
Let's find out.
Hi, Rob. Good evening. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate you looping us in there.
Federal prison in Texas.
That's what I thought. So he was moved for his own safety, federal. So he's serving his state sentence in a federal prison right now. So he will not go back to a state prison. That's the one thing. He's relatively safe in a federal prison. It's just a different type of criminal than state.
I'm just wondering if, because his wife filed for divorce like within 48 hours of everything happening.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he told her to divorce him.
I don't think so. Would you do it if I told you to?
No, but I mean, if it was,
you were
we knew.
hesitant.
No.
If I
Okay, if this was the issue and it was national attention and you said you need to distance
no,
the
you
kids
put that
and
pussy
I,
on lockdown and you wait for me to get out because
And-
my asshole's going to be the size of the Lincoln Tunnel and I'm going to be sick of catching. I'm going to want to pitch in 20 years. No, you're going to still be relevant and hot. You're not going to. Now, if it was 40 years, I'd be like, oh, fuck it. You can just pop smoke because I'll find some 18-year-old or some shit when I get out. But no, I want you to stay.
Well, I was just wondering, I wonder if he said to get her and the kids away from the spotlight of it.
You can do that
so,
too without divorcing somebody.
I don't know.
I think it's extremely callow and weak-willed. If he's innocent, why are you divorcing him? So she thought he was guilty and obviously disassociated herself with him. I think that's it's called for better or for worse for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she must honestly think that he was a racist and maybe wanted out of the relationship, and this was a great time for her to do it.
Maybe.
It's like, here are your divorce papers, bitch.
Maybe they were already on the way.
Yeah, she didn't want a conjugal visit, so she just divorced his ass instead. He's getting plenty of love right now, so he's fine. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not. I think if you are tried, he was found guilty, and I just don't agree with the sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're still going to be hot. So, and then if I get off for parole, if his parole is 2035, he doesn't have to do the whole sentence. But that's ridiculous. Usually parole's like 7 to 10 years on a 20, 30-year sentence. It's like half the time, 40% of the time. The fact that they're pushing him all the way to 2035, that's
14 years.
a long time. I mean, that's 60% of his sentence. That's a lot. And honestly, my opinion is you should never be paroled. If you are sentenced to 20 years, you should serve 20 years. And if you want to appeal, you have that process. And if you want to appeal the decision that it's an unfair penalty, you can appeal that. And if you go on appeal and the appellate court says no, and then you take it to the federal and state, and then they say no, and then you take it to circuit and then move on to SCOTUS, and they all say no, well, then have fun in jail because I would never do early parole. Fuck that. You didn't rehab when you were in there. You didn't learn anything. You should serve your sentence. Otherwise, why are we giving these magnificent sentences? Let's free up some space in prison by giving them a sentence they're going to serve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was stabbed in a federal prison in Arizona. I thought it was state. Okay. Whatever. I don't know what to tell you. Federal prisons in Texas, depends on where you're at. The ones in Colorado.
It's Big Spring, Texas.
All prisons suck. I'm just letting you know the prison system is different in every single one. Doesn't matter. Federal or state. Some are cush golf courses and some are hard, dangerous places. And I'm pretty sure they moved him to a place in Texas.
Big Spring is where he's at.
Which has a better reputation for police officers and everything else. I don't know. I don't know enough about this. I don't care. What I do know is that Trump can't pardon him. That's what I do know. Cool?
Cool.
Exactly, Matt. If you do the crime, do the time. Yeah. do the time. If you get charged with something and you're guilty, see ya. Get them off the street. You know what I mean? But honestly, I think the entire prison system is a bunch of bullshit anyway. The way we do it here is absolutely unbelievable.
If you are sentenced to life in prison, do you ever have a possibility of parole, or
Depends.
is that
It depends on what now, there are life in prisons without the possibility of parole. I believe Eric and Lyle Menendez were
without the possibility of parole, and they're paroled.
They got paroled. So once again, it takes an action in an appeal, or clemency can be given by a governor. Yeah, that's how it works. But most of the time, if it's, if you're starting, 99 consecutive life terms,
You're probably not going to get out.
well, you would assume. But nowadays, it's all stupid. It's just stupid. Just here's the thing. Don't give them life in prison. Just kill them. I don't understand this. Why do we do this? Why are you torturing them? Just end it. It's the most humane thing to do. I think the death penalty is a great way to deter crime. And if you look at the states that have slowly removed themselves from the death penalty, all the liberals are like, there's no concurrent evidence that's going to demonstrate that death penalty deters crime. Yeah, except if you want to go back in 40 years and take a look at the states who do it. Ginger says they got a 50-year new sentence. I don't know what that means. If he's released, it'll unleash a racial shitstorm. Of course it will. He's not going to be released. Tim Walz is never going to pardon him, and neither is Trump.
Nope.
Well, Trump may do it, but then he's just going to go into state prison, and then he most assuredly will be killed. Okay? All right,
Okay.
good.
Watch it.
Saudi Arabia. Donald Trump was in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this, but you remember when oil prices, under COVID and over Joe Biden, the price of gas, pushing $6.50, $7 a gallon, $10 in California, some places. And do you remember when, I think the Menendez brothers shouldn't have been paroled. Either do I. They murdered them for money. They lied.
Hayden's totally into those true crime
Kill 'em.
stories, and she's just like,
Take them out. Take them
they
out.
should be free. And I'm like, you
No.
weren't alive during that
No.
whole thing. I understand they went through some shit, but still.
Yep, Judy, we already got that. We already covered that. Judy, are you running into a delay or something? We already covered that. Because, Matt, they sit on death row for years, and then the state changes their laws, and they sit. I know. So don't, right? Bring back hospitals for the mentally insane. Let's let's reinstate the death penalty at the national level. All about it. All about it. And listen, if you rob a liquor store and you shoot a clerk, should you get the death penalty? Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
I think the death penalty should be reserved for the most heinous of crimes. I mean,
Now, if you execute 3 employees and the manager and gang style in the back of the head, and then kill the Uber driver on your getaway, you should be put to death. I believe if you're a serial rapist, if you're a pedophile, you get one chance. And if you get caught with that stuff, or you're doing something inappropriate, I think you should definitely serve 20 years. I don't care what age you are. And you should have your sexual desires removed by castration.
that would be
Then if you do it again, then you get put down. And I could think of nothing better than a bunch of 6 to 10-year-olds with wiffle bats, about 100 of them, just pummeling these people right in the pecker. Scott Peterson was originally sentenced to death for murdering his pregnant wife and got it changed to life in prison. Right. Why? Take him out. Take him out. I'm sorry. Only God can kill. Well, that's not true.
It's a waste of space. I'm sorry.
It's not. Yeah, it's a waste of money and
waste of
resources.
tax
Yes,
money.
it's
If
waste of
he's
all of it.
And who wants to be in life in prison? Just freaking end it.
Well, I think the person who is serving life in prison wants to but they don't have that.
They don't have a life.
They don't have
They're
that
sitting
opinion.
in a cell.
I don't care. I don't want to die. I'll sit in a cell for the rest of my life. I don't care. But they don't get that choice anymore. When you do something as heinous as this, you should be removed. You know what I mean? Texas
Yes.
doesn't play with death row. I think we've executed 15 so far this year. Great. That's why I love Texas. Honestly, I think every state should reinstitute the death. You want to get a hold of crime? Do that. Psychiatric hospitals, institute the death penalty. You do those two things.
Psychiatric hospitals are going to the mass shootings. The numbers will go down.
Oh, well, of course they will. You need to lock these people up. By the way, Matt, thanks for understanding on that posting earlier. I appreciate responding, and I bet you get stressed with all the trolls. No, I just hit the wrong button. When you're replying to people 50 times, sometimes you just hit reply and you don't think it's somebody else. So you came in the middle of the conversation, and then I replied thinking it was him, because sometimes I don't have time to read that shit, especially the idiots. And that guy is a world-class twat waffle. Okay, let's go. We're busy. So Saudi Arabia. Thanks for everybody who's on right now. Saudi Arabia, Joe Biden did the apology tour 2.0, went to Venezuela, went to Saudi Arabia, and Africa, and tried to get, and Iran, and tried to get oil. And they told him to go piss up a rope. They don't respect him. Donald Trump got camels, Arabian horses, a ceremony with Tesla trucks driving him. He got F-15 escorts for Air Force One in the air. They played YMCA at the end, and they played Proud to be an American by, is it Lee Greenwald? Is that
I don't remember who.
Yeah, it's not Greenwald. Somebody fix my brain. Lee Greengrass. No, it's Greenfield. Green.
I don't know. Would you like me to look it up?
Yeah, please. It's respect, because he's a great human being, and I love the song, and it means a lot to me. Lee Greenwood. Greenwood field
It was
grass.
green something.
Whatever. It's green something. Green balls. That's what happens when you have too much blue. They eventually turn green and fall off. That's what happened to every pedophile in jail. So he went on the
blue and yellow
apology. I know, we got to move on. He went to the apology tour, begged for energy, and they told him to piss up a rope. They don't respect him. But Donald Trump literally had the greatest week of any president ever. He secured almost $1.2 trillion of investment. $1.2 trillion. And I'm going to break this down for you why this is important. I am going to put it all together for you, and we're going to and I'm going to walk Olivia through it, and she's going to be like, shit, I don't know, but then do it. And what's great with this is a training thing. Olivia's now in her second year here, and she's starting to really put the pieces together because she's annualizing herself with information. So when we talk about something, she's like, oh yeah, I remember that. We talked about that. That expands your knowledge. And I've been doing this since I was 6. She's been doing this for the last really 2 years. And now if we can do this, it helps other people understand how to do it too. So let's go into it. It starts with this. This is a skit that they did in Saudi Arabia in regards to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. If you haven't seen it, it's a little cringe, but it's funny. Here it is.
Thank you very much. Today, we're going to talk about the crisis in Spain. Yeah, we're going to talk about the crisis in Africa. Yeah, Russia. And I want to talk about the president of Russia, Putin. Putin, listen to me. I have a very important message to you. The message is, and the president of China, I didn't finish Russia.
No, sir.
Thank you to correct me, First Lady.
Damn.
Thank you very much. God bless you. And God bless.
Thank you all. Hallelujah. Clap to your president. Clap to your president right now.
That's what they think of
It's
him.
about as good as SNL.
Yep.
But they didn't respect him. Now, this is really important because you're probably going to ask yourself the question, why is Trump doing this? I will tell you, this is extraordinary what he's doing. So let's walk through this together. Okay, everybody on. So dial in. Let's get our big girl pants on and let's focus. The next world war will be fought over what continent?
Africa.
Yeah. So I've been saying that for a long time. Why?
I'm going to assume it's got something to do with like precious metals or some whatever they've got there.
It's pretty fair. The reason is because nobody gives a shit about Antarctica, and Africa is relatively unclaimed. You just got to kill, a few 100 million people who aren't dying like they should because of AIDS and help them along and take their country. And what you're seeing is China, Iran, making headway along with North Korea, South Africa, Russia, making headway with building on the eastern side of Africa bases. Now, really in Africa, the only military base, which I'm not going to go into specifics, was American. And there were several other smaller bases, but really, truly, as far as a command structure, the United States had one of the largest bases in the world and secret facilities in Africa for a long period of time. And Benghazi kind of blew the lid on this. And I don't need to go into detail. But you're absolutely right. Because of precious metals, but more importantly, geopolitical location and geography, is whoever controls Northern Africa controls the Middle East. Whoever controls the Middle East controls Northern Africa. And these are essential trade routes for shipping, throughfare, and we saw during COVID how impactful it can be to the global economy if these areas shut down. Remember when that giant vessel went sideways in the canal and shut down shipping, it literally, and everyone had to go around the Cape. It literally had like 1,300 miles to the journey, and costs went through the roof on things, and we ran out of a lot of shit like toilet paper and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So Africa is a very strategic point for the next 30 years. And China is building naval bases there. They are putting a lot of money into Africa. They are bringing medicine and food and humanitarian needs to kind of get their foot in the door. And then China will simply just exterminate whoever they don't want. That's just the way this will work. The United States also has a responsibility where we give a lot of money to Africa for medicinal research, AIDS medication, which is extremely expensive. We give them military protection, and we do a lot to ensure that we have access to Africa to use it as an airspace, to run strikes from, to ensure that our bases there are effective. And China and Russia and Iran and North Korea and South Africa creating military positions there is going to fire off at some point. At some point, a strategic position inside Africa will be wanted by the United States and those foreign countries, and there will be conflict. Because when two opposing forces finally meet, you have stagnation. Equal mass, equal energy. Nothing happens. So there will be a breaking point where both of those face off. What will it be? Now, this is where you got to go deep.
What or who?
What?
What?
We already know the who.
What they're going to fight over.
We already know the who. We already know the why. We already know the when. We know the where. Now it's the what.
Is Middle East part of Africa?
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, you've got Libya and you got Djibouti and DJ and everywhere else. And Northern Africa is, yes, most assuredly Muslim and a part of the Middle East.
I would think it would be oil then.
No.
Oh.
Come on. Oil. Come on. You're smarter than that. because we would have already had that. If it was oil we were after in Africa, then we wouldn't have need to go in the Middle East. But that's a very interesting point, because you're making a huge point right there. Is if you want something, you choose the path of
Least resistance.
So going into the Middle East was dumb, considering that those oil fields, they had militaries. It would have been easier just to go into Africa if we could have gotten the oil from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't. So why are all these other countries no, it's not Holy Land. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with religion. Why are all these other countries going to Africa? You said it.
Resources, diamonds, precious metals.
Okay. What do you use precious metals for? That is going to be massive over the next 3 decades.
Something to do with technology.
What technology? Be specific.
Phones.
Come on. Not a phone. We've got one fucking 10 billion phones right now. Phones are everywhere. Everyone's got a phone. We've got 5 of them all within reach. It's not phones. Think. It's not here yet. What's it going to be?
Oh, it's not here yet. Oh.
Of course it's not here yet, because you're going to fight for it in the future. What is the fight going to be over? Okay, let me give you a breakdown. Cotton gin, okay? South and the North. You wanted me to tell you, right?
Yeah, I
let
don't
me,
know
then
what
let me
you
finish.
said that
Then let me finish. Cotton gin, North and the South, Civil War. North developed, didn't need slaves anymore. They could do the production of 10 slaves with one machine. South didn't have it. They didn't have the innovation. They fell behind. They fell behind almost 2 decades. And we're even more rural than the ruralist community in the North, which would be a metropolis compared to them. The South fell behind. North said you have to give up your slaves. They said we can't do that. If we do that, we die. Civil War's fought. Industrial Revolution, a race to textiles, race to production, a race to petroleum, a race to plastics. What happened in World War II? United States. Rest of the world starts building massive amounts of manufacturing, massive amounts of planes, plastics, tanks, guns, airplanes. Why did we win? We won because we built it faster and better. Vietnam, Khe Sanh. What happened? Saigon. What happened in Vietnam? The fight of communism, global power, the spread of communism. Being terrified that would spread into other countries that would close down shipping lanes. We would have another World War II type of thing. The race to rockets, the race to the information age of intelligence was what happened between Russia and the United States. The race to nuclear weapons, but the intelligence, the counterintelligence game that happened between the FBI, the CIA, the Politburo, the Spetsnaz, the KGB. Then we had our oil fight already. We did that in the Middle East, race to oil, race to energy independence and dominance. What is the next big fight, Liv? It's all over. It's everywhere. You could just cut it out of the sky and eat it right now. Take your time. What do you use those minerals for? What are you going to use those things for? It's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to be as impactful as the TV set. It's going to be as impactful as the printing press, as the telegram, as cable, as CD-ROM, as computers, as the internet. It is going to revolutionize the world. 8-track versus CD versus MP3. What is it? It's here right now.
AI.
AI.
Thank you, Christine. She gave me the answer. I would never have guessed that.
It's okay. That's why we do this.
Never have guessed that.
But you know what? It's got everyone else thinking.
Yep.
And that's why we do it. That's why we lay the pieces out on the table and we talk about it. It's not belittling. People go, "How can you talk to your wife like that?" Because this is how she learns. And her mom didn't do it for her, so I'm still doing it for her 26 years later. I know, I did.
Holy shit.
I want to get laid. So it's going to be AI. So are you ready? Here,
yes.
Focus.
I'm focused.
Look at me.
I'm focused.
Don't go to you're on a great path. Okay, here we go. Ready? Open. Ready? Sit. Good. Good puppy. All right. So you know it's going to be AI. Now you said it earlier about oil. Why would you go and rob the Baron when you simply can go off of his land and steal the deer? Okay? When you can go into the forest and poach a deer, why would you steal the food at the Baron's table? One is impossible. The second one is relatively easy as long as you don't get caught. So with oil, why didn't we go into Africa? Well, because the production wasn't there. The infrastructure wasn't there. And although those countries exported, they exported other things like their mineral sources more than their oil. Really, the Middle East is where oil is the most abundant. So you got to go. It's like Willie Sutton said, why do you rob banks?
That's where all the money is.
That's where all the money is, right? So why do you rob the Middle East? Because that's where the oil is. Okay, great. So now we know this. So why are Africa, North Korea, Iran, Russia, et cetera, running to Africa?
Because they've got whatever the mineral it is to make stuff out of AI. I mean, isn't like the...
Don't go there yet. Wait, you have it. Stay on course. Stay on target. Stay on target. I hit womp rats about that size back home in Beggar's Canyon. So they're going there. Why are they going there?
Because it's an abundance there?
It's
everywhere.
The path of
least resistance.
Least of resistance. All you got to do is go ahead and take out a couple 100 million black people. We've done it before. Let's do it again. Russia can go in there. They can build. They can do philanthropy. They can give them medicine. They can do the exact same thing we're doing on the western side of Africa, and get in there. And it's a path of least resistance without a lot of investment. It's cheaper to do humanitarian shit than it is to go to war. So they go in that way. What does the U.S. know? What do they know? Now, this is the interesting thing. This is where you need to think like Trump. What do they know about Africa? What is the one thing Africa is? Just be racist. And don't say black people. What is it? You know, right when you think of Africa, when you're like, you're going to go move to Africa, what's the first thing you think?
I think of safari, like barren desert and safari, lions and elephants and shit.
Okay, but what about their houses?
I don't think they're straw.
Right, mud and straw.
Exactly.
So what does that mean? They are what?
Primitive.
Go more economic and be harsh.
Poor.
They're fucking poor. And Africa is poor. What is the Middle East not?
They are not poor.
At all.
Very wealthy.
In fact, they are the wealthiest nations in the fucking world.
Because of the oil.
And Donald Trump is getting them on his side. Wait.
I got a question.
Wait. Don't.
Okay.
Don't move off yet.
Okay.
The Middle East, although cannot provide the minerals and resources, China, Russia, and everywhere else is going to need what to make this happen? What is the thing? They can have all the they've got the knife, they got the fork, they got the A1 sauce, they got the capers, they got the baked potato, they got the salad, they got the Pilsner of Guinness. What are they missing?
Steak.
Missing the steak. So what are they going to need in order to run all of the minerals that are going to turn into data centers and storage centers and fiber optics and everything else, or the fifth gen technology that's going to be created? What are they going to need?
Land.
No.
No.
What are they going to need? I just told you what the Middle East has.
Oil.
Energy.
Energy.
And
Okay.
money. And Donald Trump is literally collecting Arab countries. They are lining up to pour money into his pocket. Because Donald Trump is going to bring them into the modern age. Donald Trump is going to allow them to invest into AI centers. He's going to allow them to put data farms in the Middle East. He's going to bring them jobs. And he has sought his partner, and he believes that if he shores up the energy and money, they can have the minerals, they can have the technology, but when they want the loans and they want the power to run that, they got to go through Donald Trump. He gets the Middle East without firing a shot.
He's a businessman.
It's genius. It's fucking genius. So all these people that are like, Syria, Qatar, DJ, Libya, they have terror. Yes, they do. And Donald Trump knows that so does New York. So does Minnesota. So does England. So does Germany. It's all over the world. And you always will have dissent. And you will always have uprisings. And you'll always have extremists. He doesn't care about that shit. What he knows is America has been in a perpetual state of war since World War I. And it's time for it to stop. And it's time to bring peace in the Middle East. And whoever does that, because Russia tried it, the French tried it, foreign countries like Saudi Arabia in their own country tried it, Iran tried it, Iraq tried it during the Iraq-Iran war, the Jews tried it, England tried it. Nobody's been successful because everyone's done it with a gun. Donald Trump is going to do it with a pen and banks. And they are going to line up and give them the one thing that they have more than anything else in the world. Don't say oil. What do they got? Money. And what does the United States need more than anything right now to get out of the fiscal fucking cliff?
Money.
Money.
Why is
Wait, let it wash. Let that shit marinate. I just fucking laid out Donald Trump's 30-year plan. And I get, well, I have a question. No,
He's only going to be president for another 3.5.
Democrats are never, ever, ever, ever going to turn down money. And if you can secure the Middle East, which has been for the last 50 years, the effort for the biggest superpowers in the world is to go after them and take it by gun, Donald Trump is treating them with respect and saying, come with me. I'm going to bring you into capitalism. I'm going to bring you into Western civilization success without having to change your culture. We're going to teach you how to be on the world stage. Saudi Arabia has it figured out. Iraq doesn't. Qatar is starting to figure it out. But UAE isn't. Egypt doesn't. Lebanon doesn't. Syria doesn't. So what do you think he's doing? That's why he's taking sanctions off Syria. To give them a fresh start is what he says. Okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
If Africa has all these resources that people want, why are they so poor?
That's the point. They didn't need them 25 years ago because silicone is different than what they need now. The rare cobalt, they have lithium, they have other needs because the capacity of what we need has changed. That's like saying, well, filament was a huge resource. Filament was massive. And countries like Poland and Germany had an abundance of it. And they exported massive amounts of filament for all of our bulbs. Well, once we got rid of filament and halogen bulbs, we don't need filament anymore. Sulfur used to be a massive export in Wyoming. It literally was like 40% of Wyoming's budget. Well, sulfur isn't something we need much anymore. There is alternative chemicals that do the job of sulfur without having the noxious properties of sulfur. And this hurts Wyoming. Go ahead.
So if Africa knows that this is coming, can't they start I don't know, do they just not have the technology to figure it out?
They don't have the what? We just said it.
Money.
They're fucking poor.
I want you to
imagine.
To invest in them.
Yeah, I want you to imagine that you're in your backyard and there's black gold under there. And you're like, I'm rich. No, you're not. Because it's going to cost you $1.5 million to get the freaking equipment in there to get the gold out. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to go to a bank. You know what the bank's going to do? Sure, we'll do that for you, but we want 55% of the fucking profits. Then you go, okay, well, let me go get a driller. So you go hire a driller. You know what they say? We want 15% of the profits.
And then
you got to get to a distributor. But first you got to process it. So you go to a processor, and the processor says, we want 5%. Then you go to a distributor, and the distributor says, we want 2.5%. And now your profits that were ultimately going to be $100 million, you're going to take home $1.2 million. And then taxes are going to hit. And then you're bankrupt. So just because you have the technology, just because you have the resources, doesn't mean you have the means to get it.
Got it.
It might as well be on the fucking moon for Africa.
Got it. Got it. I go to the bathroom.
What? Oh, we were going to go to a good place. Good. Folks, great time for a commercial. If you have not, we're only at $81.75. If that right there just didn't make you go, what? Holy crap, I see the light. I see the vision. This is the same channel that told you about potash, told you about world famine, told you about Ukraine, told you about the Baltimore Bridge, told you about COVID and what was going on there. Before anyone talked about Wuhan, we were talking about Wuhan. Come on, this is the channel. We told you about the Nashville bomber. We told you about the election. And we lost a lot of great fans. This is the show, folks. We talk about this stuff all the time because we love this shit. Olivia does too. She's really putting some things together. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about it.
The DUM Show is built on real conversations, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Big tech didn't like that. Facebook pulled our funding, tried to shut us down. But for over a year, you, our incredible viewers, have kept us going. Your support, your donations, your time, it all matters. Most of you spend 10 plus hours a week with us. Compare that to Netflix, maybe 5 hours a month. We believe we're worth that time. And we hope you do too. But listen, we don't want giving to feel like a burden. We want it to feel good. So take a second to ensure you're in a good spot. If you're in a place to give, that will be amazing. If not, just liking and sharing helps more than you know. Visit thedumshow.com/donate. Whether it's PayPal, Venmo, or Mail, every bit helps to keep us going. Dumb Nation, we appreciate you more than words can say.
All right, folks. Thank you. Olivia's going to get some donations in because, listen, that is when I love when Leroy's here. But you know what? It's great that Olivia's here because, first of all, I'm very proud of you. You did great. You saw it. AI was a little bit like pulling some teeth.
There's no way I was going to get that. I appreciate the cheat.
See, what people don't understand is AI is going to do so much more than making fake images in movies. AI is now, they just did an AI game and it said, you went into Grok and you said, write me a game based on Doom. You know the video game Doom where you scroll and shoot a candy?
Yeah.
Write an entire video game, but instead replace it with medieval stuff like dragons and skeletons and swords and knives. And wrote it in 3 hours, an entire game.
Holy cow, that's pretty freaking
yes,
cool.
Soon this is coming. Angela Hills, 21.10. Thanks for the great show, trying to get you closer to goal, and we love you for it. So AI is going to solve... I talked about folding at home, using the PS4 and PS5 to use equations for DNA and different variations of cellular degeneration that no computer on the planet can do. But by using all the PS4s and 5s when they're powered on at night, they all can do these computations. If you sign up, I've been doing it for 10 years. And now AI can do that in a matter of seconds. Okay? Robert Rice, 2110. Why would Democrats ignore this? Because they don't know what Donald Trump's doing and they can't understand it, so they're focusing on planes. They're focusing on his orange skin. They're focusing on shit that does not matter. They're focusing on habeas corpus, which Eli Crane has a great one. Here is Mornings with Maria. Olivia's not a big fan of Maria, but she does a great job here. Listen to Donald Trump. This will help kind of put a bow on it. I did not watch this, but I'm pretty confident he's going to tell you exactly what I just told you.
We are currently exploring normalizing relations with Syria's new government, as you know, beginning with my meeting with President Ahmed al-Shara and Secretary Rubio's meeting with the Syrian foreign minister in Turkey. After discussing the situation with Crown Prince Mohammed and President Erdogan of Turkey, I am also ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria to give them a fresh start. It gives them a chance for greatness. The sanctions were really crippling, very powerful. So we will be dropping all of the sanctions on Syria, which I think really is going to be a good thing.
Big news out of the Saudi meeting. Trump speaking this morning at the Gulf Cooperation Council in Riyadh. Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Shara, reportedly offered to build a Trump Tower in Damascus as U.S.-Syrian relations enter a new era. Joining me now is Argent LNG CEO Jonathan Bass. Jonathan is in Riyadh right now. Thanks very much for being here this morning, sir. What was the reaction to all of that breaking news from your standpoint, being on the ground there in Riyadh?
I mean, being in the audience was electrifying as everybody heard the words from President Trump. It was incredible that the reverberation, everyone got up, stood up, was clapping. It was the only clapping, standing ovation that he had throughout his speech was on Syria. And then the streets exploded around Syria. The street just took control and was singing and joyful. You know, you had a country that people couldn't send their mother's money, they couldn't send their father's money, and today they're coming out of the dark and open a new page to the future of being a nation that sits at a table, maybe not the United Nations, but maybe sits at the table of nations with the United States.
And do you trust that new leadership in Syria?
No, you don't trust anybody.
You know, look, everybody has a past that needs to come forward, and he assured me in all of our dialogue, first he wants to take control and ensure the risk of any damage being done to any future synagogues or churches or any religious minorities have an actual seat at the table. He doesn't want to lead from the top, but he wants to lead from the center and center up. So I believe that he wants a change.
Folks, Donald Trump is going to do more for Syria than Iran has in the last 25 years. And Iran runs their proxies through there, gets their people killed, gets their people bombed. They had a horrible dictator. And Assad was a terror. And people forgive him because he protected Christians. Okay. That has nothing to do with what he was supporting and what he was doing with Iran. Now, Iran is literally having their last leg cut out from underneath them. They don't have Hamas. Hezbollah has completely just, their assholes puckered. IRGC is in Syria, the Iranian Republican Guard. You've got the Houthis. You've got the JIP. All of them are done. They're not doing this shit anymore. They have been fighting Russia and the United States for 50 years. They are done with this shit. So Donald Trump is going in here and essentially replacing Iran in Syria. He's ensuring Israel's survival. He is backing off Israel a little bit because what Netanyahu needs is a reason not to have so many weapons. Israel is taking care of Gaza. Let Donald Trump take care of the rest of the Muslim nations, the other 98% of the countries surrounding Israel. And that is what he's doing. He is going to get what he wants. He's going to these places and they're saying, here's trillions of dollars, here's peace, here's respect, here's all the things you need, Mr. Trump. All we want are A, B, C, and D. He's going to give it to them, and he is going to have peace in the Middle East. And this will be one of the biggest pieces of legislation on the world stage ever. This is more important than any armistice. This passes the Versailles Treaty. This surpasses the Geneva Convention. This will become one of the largest pieces of world legislation ever if he can pull this off. And he started it in 16 and 20, and Biden fucked it up. And now he is going to complete his masterpiece. And I cannot wait to shove this right down Democrats' throats. Because I've said it, they're playing checkers. He's playing chess. He knows these people. He's worked with these people. He has relationships with people from a business standpoint. They respect him.
Changed Syria to take Syria through the future and bring them in out of darkness and lead them to a path of economic stability. And he really believes that the only partner he had to make a deal with was Donald Trump. He believes that a man who shared one common goal with him, which they both had one common tie, which was that they were both shot at. They understood the fragility of life, and they understand how God can take you from the earth in a second.
Wow.
They feel that he felt that he had a path that he could join with President Trump, and everybody's in there. Maria, don't be fooled. You have the Chinese, you have the Russians, you have the Turks, you have the Iranians, you have everybody in there. You have the Gulf nations that want a part of the pie.
Yeah.
And what he felt is that he wanted to be the third on the list, not of Afghanistan and Iraq. He wanted to be on the third on the list of Japan, Germany. And he only saw that through a partnership with Donald Trump, that he was the only man to make that happen. And I was very happy. You know, I left Damascus not even 2 weeks ago with a mission to try and bring everybody together, at least have his voice heard, to protect Jewish sites, protect the Jewish community that rests, the Christian community, the religious.
You want to know what's hilarious? People are saying, you know, Mel said it best. I bet that DJT still won't get the Nobel Peace Prize. I bet he won't. So you know what's going to happen? I bet you that those Middle Eastern countries are going to create their own prestigious award outside the Nobel. And they will make sure that he is the first recipient. What he is about to do, there is so little risk in this. The only thing that can happen is it goes back to where it is, where Muslims kill each other when they can't kill Jews. Do I trust them? No. You don't trust anyone in business. But you trust their greed and you trust their lust for power.
Minority.
Folks, we are at 123.95. We can't miss another night. I understand we're saving for Friday's show, but we've got to hit goals. So help us out, please. Robert Rice, thank you. You guys are awesome. Is this Robert Rice's first donation?
No, he just donated. It was the last donation too. He donated twice.
Robert, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Question,
you.
any family in San Diego or Michigan, Robert? Just out of curiosity.
Are you related to Jerry from the 49ers? Too?
No, I'm curious.
Because if it is, you better give us more than $51.99.
No, not wondering if it's related to Jerry. Just out of curiosity.
All right, let's listen to the rest of this, and we got a pound.
You know, need a seat at the table, and I believe he will bring that together.
That is incredibly powerful, Jonathan, truly. Meanwhile, the president also announced that the U.S. and Saudi...
By the way, just look at the lower right-hand corner with the Dow futures. What happened to the recession? What happened to the stock market crash? What happened to the Black Monday? What happened to the Black Friday? I don't remember that.
These have signed several deals.
Ban General Gabriel Reese.
I saw that.
Energy deals between Saudi Aramco and American oil companies. It includes a $3.4 billion agreement to expand a Saudi-owned refinery in Texas. The president also gave details on that massive $600 billion investment committed to the United States by MBS, the Crown Prince. It includes $142 billion in defense contracts, $80 billion in transformation technology, $20 billion in AI and energy infrastructure, and another $14 billion for energy deals.
Oh.
You were at the forum yesterday. Tell us what your reaction is to that and how that money will be allocated in America.
I mean, the buzz was insane.
And then another, like, what, $1 trillion? I mean, just the money he gave to Boeing. And Boeing is now going to have to give us those Air Force One jets for free. They're behind schedule. I guarantee they get on schedule now. And it probably was either you get me these damn things or you're going to lose this contract. But this is the problem. Here is Kevin O'Leary. I really like Kevin O'Leary. Smart guy. Here is what he is going to say on this. Once again, I haven't watched this. I put this on here knowing I was going to talk about this. And I always like to be contradicted. I'm waiting for it. I don't think I'm going to be. I think Kevin's going to line up with what I said.
President Trump, he wants to round it up to $1 trillion worth of deals and investments in the United States. Where do you think that money's going?
Most of it's AI. This trip is about two things, China and AI. What people don't realize, that region is one of the fastest growing on earth. I'm talking about the circle of friendship here, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates. Who's number 3 in AI development right now? U.S., China's number 2, number 3, UAE. So that's why all those AI guys are there. They are so advanced. I just got back there 2 days ago from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I saw for the first time ever a real estate development completely AI driven. We have nothing like it here. You talk about a smart home, they're way past that. The medical AI technology they have over there, I got a procedure there we don't offer here, FDA doesn't allow it, called EBU, where my blood was filtered and then oxygenated, then ozonated, and then injected with 50 billion exosomes. I walked out of there like a teenager. I feel like $1 million right now. I said, can I do this again next week? They said, no, you got to wait 4 more months. They are so advanced. By getting this whole thing worked out with these countries, we need to align with them because they want to be in the circle of friendship on all of these metrics, whether it's going to be AI, whether it's going to be real estate, whether it's going to be development. And we don't want China doing that. We want the U.S. forming that relationship.
So let China go to Africa. Let them build up their military bases. And we'll make sure that we have energy and money. And then in the next 2 decades, we will catch them and surpass them in AI. Chip manufacturing is important, but it is not the most prominent thing. It is now because a lot of our economy, NASDAQ, is tied up in Apple. We will sustain, but he is looking towards the future. This is exactly what I just told you. He's going to the Middle East because the Middle East is up for grabs. It's primed. It's the South during the Civil War, 20 years after the war. They have caught up to the North. The technology, the infrastructure, the information, the irrigation could move the South into start competing with the North. Middle East is no longer a bunch of camel straw huts and mud. They've got a shit ton of money. They have got a lot of up-and-coming cities, and they have technology that we do not have. Folks, this shit ain't for free. It takes time and it takes energy to make this happen, and you are the reason that we're successful. That's why we're having one of the biggest shows we've ever had. It's huge. I want you to watch this. It is Friday night. It is coming up. Here it is.
The DUM Show, May 16th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. One goal, one night, one chance. Chris Peranto, Laura Logan, Roseanne Barr, Jason Shepard, T.S. Dixon, Damani Felder, Barry Morgenstein, Ryan Samuels, Lisa Regina. One night only. The race to 20K is on. Be part of it.
Friday night starts at 6 o'clock. It goes till 11 or whenever. It may go longer. Hopefully we're going to be on time, but you never know what's going to happen, especially on the Don't Unfriend Me show. Quick video for Donald Trump. This will put a smile on everybody's face. Enjoy this.
Good evening, America. Unless you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
Cute. AI. Loretta, we are checking the mailbox tomorrow and Friday. I'm sure we will have them.
Yep. I checked today on my way home and there was nothing in there, but I'm going to check tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Good chance that it'll be here tomorrow. Do you know what happens when people are finally fed up? This type of shit happens. Welcome to our government.
I want to make a clarification here because there's been so many incredibly false and misleading things said today. Once a deportation order has been issued, the due process is over. The due process occurs prior to that, where the judge makes a decision with the information, oftentimes the help of NGOs, sometimes in the past funded by the federal government. But the judge issues an order, and there's well over 1 million people in this situation that are being deported appropriate. No lawyer is offered at that point. The judge has made a decision. The due process has already occurred.
James, we certainly appreciate it, Bubba. We can't count it, though, unless we have it in hand, bud. So, yeah, we can't. There's somebody matching donations, and I just don't think it's ethical for me to, unless I have that in hand, we can't do it, man. But we appreciate that, and that will certainly be counted, and we love you for it. But we just can't until we have it in hand, count it. Now, if you send it out tomorrow, maybe it'll be here. I just don't know, brother. But we certainly appreciate that with everything. We're going to count it, but I don't know if we can count it for the show. So we'll hope it gets here soon enough.
It's really important to make that point. People are not inhuman or violating the law. They're following the law. They're executing an order that's been presented by a judge. I saw a meme somewhere this week that said a society that makes war on its law enforcement better learn how to make friends with its criminals.
Hmm.
I've said this before. The left has this incredible heart for the criminal. They defend the criminal. A full-throated defense of criminals over the safety of Americans and the following of the rule of law. We've even seen the defense of a congresswoman, who threw a punch at a police officer.
James, if you really want to overnight that, then if you talk to Olivia, she'll make sure you get our home address, okay? Which would be better to do it there than a P.O. box, because I don't know if they'll allow that. So just let us know. We really, really appreciate it, my friend.
I mean, that's unconscionable. If I was a 100% politician, and I'm not, but if I was a 100% politician, I'd be happy with that. Why? Because that's exactly the reason they lost every single swing state in the recent election, the border.
Yep.
This full-throated defense of criminals and the punching of law enforcement in the face. It's why they lost every single swing state, and Republicans gained in almost every state more votes than we'd ever gotten before. Because the American people recognize who the good guy really is. And it ain't Tren de Agua. Or a guy who was driving 8 women, young women, through my state, and the Biden administration said, do not detain him. As I've said before, the left doesn't know a good guy from a bad guy. They street violent criminals and they want to defund ICE. That's been their mantra since I've been in this position. It's ridiculous. It's heinous. And yes, if I were a pure politician, I'd say keep going, guys. But what it does is it breaks my heart. I am a combat veteran and I have a kindred connection to those law enforcement agencies and agents who put their ass on the line, their lives on the line for our safety. And we're fussing about whether or not the guy has a mask on to protect his identity when he's an undercover agent. I don't know how many people made an issue out of that. Give me a break. Want to cut a deal with Iran, destabilize the Middle East, punch Saudi Arabia in the face, we get an imbalance in what happens, an invasion of Israel. They don't know a good person from a bad person.
James, it's real easy to join PayPal or Venmo. Olivia can walk you through it. It's a cakewalk. If you have a bank account, if you have a credit card, it's the easiest thing in the world. I'm telling you. And
Venmo's easy too.
It's real simple, man. Just if you need some help, we're here for you. We have to do this right. We have to do it honorably. And I know what the easy thing to do is. I know what unethical people would do is they would just put in false donations and get to that money and count it good. We're not playing that game. We're doing it right. And if we don't hit it, it's going to be because we didn't do it together. And if we hit it, it's going to be because everyone pitched in. It's not going to be because we cheat or do it the wrong way. And I'm not saying you are, but I have to do it the right way. It's just the way I'm built. It's who I am. This is a huge opportunity, and I just would be remiss if I didn't do it the right way, brother. That's it.
That's why the American people said, we don't want them in charge. Again, if I were a pure politician, I'd say, keep going, guys. But it's a spit in the face to the men who wear that uniform. It's a charade. That's what it is. It's a charade. Say something about law enforcement and turn around and be okay with a U.S. Congresswoman punching a police officer in the back. It's infuriating. Madam Secretary, you have done a remarkable job. And what's happening now is the criminals and the cartels have stopped making billions of dollars trafficking human beings into our country. Thank you for that. And the texts and tweets that I've gotten from Border Patrol and the texts and tweets I've gotten from law enforcement all across this country during this hearing support everything I'm saying.
People are asking. It's Mark Green from Tennessee, y'all. Mark Green, Tennessee.
Thank you. And I charge you to keep going. Keep doing it. That judge executes that removal order, get him out of here.
You go, girl.
And you think, yeah, dude, you gotta love that guy. Oh, Joanne Lutman, $10, trying to help get you there. And we love you for it. Thanks, hon. If you think that's good, here is my boy Eli Crane dropping bars. I wish Eli and I still could communicate and have him come on the show, but he has just gotten too big. I love this. It's so simple. It's so perfect, and it's so constitutionally driven. I'm proud of him. So proud of him, man. Proud of my shipmate, man. Here it is. Listen to this. Maybe. What the? Hold on. Bubba donated. Can't wait till Friday. $20. Either can we, Bubba. We're excited. Okay, listen to this real quick. This is an important one.
Ms. Nome, are you familiar with Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 of the Constitution that covers the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus?
Yes.
It says that the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. Are you aware of which presidents have suspended the writ of habeas corpus?
I know that President Lincoln did.
Yep.
Yeah, also Roosevelt and President Grant.
Correct.
You testified under oath, I believe, that the Biden administration allowed an invasion into our country. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Jen, PayPal doesn't do
You think it
fees
falls under the
if you make it friends and family. If you add that person and make it friends and family. Anyway, but we get fees no matter what. We get fees from Venmo too.
constitutional guidelines that I just read to you?
I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I believe it does.
You've also witnessed that the Democrats here today and also radical activist judges are trying to halt and deny the president's agenda to carry out his constitutional duties to keep Americans safe and carry out his promise to the American people to secure the border and carry out mass deportations of those who have entered the country illegally. Knowing this, are you open and supportive of this constitutional option to suspend the writ of habeas corpus to keep Americans safe and carry out the president's agenda?
Well, this is something that's not in my purview to weigh in on. This is the president's prerogative to pursue, and he has not indicated to me that he will or will not be taking that action.
I want to thank Rogan O'Hanley for his efforts to bring this constitutional solution into the national conversation. Now I want to shift gears real quick.
You know what? You want to suspend habeas corpus. There's precedent, and the President of the United States has the right to do so. And all we got to do is go ahead and prove that there is a constitutional need for it, which would be an invasion on foreign soil, which the border most assuredly, if it's unsecure, is. The American people want that. They don't care about these criminals. I know Democrats have assigned themselves to all the worst sorts of people, from Che Guevara to Lenin to Saul Alinsky, even going ahead and prompting up mass murderers like Mao. But this takes the cake. You know, we dealt with George Floyd. We dealt when you put gang members and rappers and people who killed cops in the White House. We understand that you guys love the bad boys. But to say due process is not being conducted when the person had 2 hearings. Where is this with Kilmar Garcia? Where did he go? We're not talking about that anymore. Now we're talking about rapists and sex traffickers in an ICE facility. What happened to their golden boy, the no tattoo guy? What happened to him? What happened to the wife beater and the child sex trafficker? No, we don't want him anymore. It's ridiculous. Good for Eli, huh, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's doing fine. Kevster donated $10.80. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you, buddy. Liv, this is a good one. This is about schools.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm all ears.
So this is grading for equity, something you've talked about many times and how you can't stand it.
Yep.
I'm leaning back. I'm gonna fall asleep in the chair. Suzanne Smith, 103.48. Love your show. Thank you, Suzanne Smith. Is that new?
I don't
Suzanne.
Her name sounds familiar.
Well, Smith and Suzanne. We have a bunch of Suzannes. But maybe not. Doesn't matter. Thank you. Very nice of you. 320-22. We hit goal, folks. That's so nice because we didn't hit goal last night. And holy shit, Mel Lowe. Okay, dummies, take it home to goal. Yeah, take it home, folks. We're only $275 shy. Let's go. Change that number. 423.70. Thank you so much, guys. We needed that. So we hit last night and tonight. Last night was rough. We really appreciate it. We know going into Friday it's going to be hard. I know you guys are saving. I know you are. I know you've really extended yourselves, and it means a great deal. But every penny that we get from this show is going into the studio. Every penny. We're not going on vacation. We're not buying a new car. Suzanne McGoran, still going to help on Friday. See you there. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be fun. But every penny is going into that studio. We're excited for this, and we hope you are too. Here's a great video. Talks about equity in K through 12. This is that gentleman that I had on the other night. He keeps popping in my feed. He's on A Real American Voice. It's Steve Gruber. I kind of like this guy. He's a little brash, but so am I. Listen to this.
Of the America First Policy Institute Center for Education Opportunity and the founder of Optima Ed, Erica Donalds. Erica, thank you for being here. Look, my mother taught school for 30 years, my grandmother for 40. They stuck to some things that are called reading, writing, and arithmetic. All of the nonsense that's going around in the classrooms now, they would be shocked by. I'm quite certain. My grandmother taught first grade. My mother taught fifth grade. Again, I came from educators. And I know what I saw. And I know that things like phonics were the building blocks of education. And all of that stuff gets tossed out in favor of the new way. Well, the new way doesn't necessarily work, does it?
Well, no, I, like you, believe in traditional curriculum, classical curriculum, getting back to the basics in education. You know, our grading system is not what's broken. Our education is broken, though, our entire education system, especially the government monopoly. But this is another fad, and you said it, a principal turned consultant who is consulting with districts and schools across the country, telling them not to give students zeros anymore, to start with a 50. I mean, I think your grandmother and your mother probably, if the child did zero work, they got a 0% on that assignment.
That's correct.
And has really been pushing what I would call more mastery-based grading as opposed to equity-based grading, although we have to be very weary when we hear the word equity, especially when it comes to education.
Sure. Absolutely true. You know, it makes me think of something else that I hear regularly out there in the world these days. That's kids that show up after college and don't have soft skills.
Dodie says, I'm so disappointed that I won't be able to be here Friday night. It's my granddaughter's high school graduation. Listen, it's high school graduation. You got to do it. But do you have to be there for the whole thing? I'm just,
Oh my God.
I'm just asking. Show up, and when she sees you, she's like, "I love you, Grandma," and you're like, "I love you too," and then hightail out of there, or bring your phone and get yourself.
You got a cell phone, right?
Get yourself an earbud, and watch it, and just listen. You're here. We're going to be on for 5 hours. I can't imagine it's a 5-hour graduation.
I would assume there's probably going to be a party afterwards. That usually happens.
Yeah, we're going to have, once again, priorities. I'm just kidding. Have fun and congratulations.
You know what this was a few years ago. Soft skills, what's that mean? It means you show up on time, you're dressed for work, you've got your life in order, you're ready to do the job. And if you allow things like, well, if you're late, it doesn't matter. If you don't turn in your homework, it doesn't matter. You can retake the test as many times as you want. It doesn't matter. We're going to give you at least 50% and probably an A just because you showed up to. This does not help people get ready for the workforce, does it?
Absolutely. You are right. That is one of the number one things that employers are saying about the education system, that it is not producing well-rounded children, well-rounded workers. Part of your grading, when you talk about participation grades, attendance grades.
Jessica, the good news is we'll make sure it's recorded. We're going to split it up in multiple parts for the podcast because actually we might just put on a 5-hour podcast. I don't know if I can get that under 300 megabytes, though, and not lose quality. So we may split it up into part 1, part 2. But I will save it for sure. I will post it on Rumble and Facebook and redistribute it again so it doesn't drop off live. This is a night we have to remember. I think it's going to be awesome, and we're excited for it. We got to get Laura and Roseanne to do
Oh, yes.
a Don't Unfriend Me
A Don't
intro.
Unfriend Me intro.
And I got to get T.S. Dixon's as well.
And
Turning in your
Oh, yeah, Tonto to do it.
work on time or getting penalized if you don't. That is helping to teach children the habits. So it's not just about the skills, although we need to make sure that students learn the skills of reading and writing and math, but also teaching them the skills of work, turning things in on time, meeting deadlines. And so that is why it's so important not to limit grading to just mastery of knowledge and information, but also all of the habits that go along with a successful life in after school.
Paul, thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, I look to one state right now.
It usually shows me subscribers, but thanks for subscribing to the group, man. It might pop up in a second here, but Paul Sheehan, I think is what it is. Maybe it's Sheehan. No, it's Sheehan. Is it Sheehan? Just tell me. Either way.
I got to see the...
It's okay. Paul, thanks for the subscription. We appreciate you.
When I was younger, routinely was last or very close to last in reading, and now they're at the top, Mississippi, because they went to the basics. It's called the Mississippi Miracle. If you see things like this happen, guys, or should I say boys and girls, shouldn't we follow best practices, Erica? I mean, honestly, here's something that works. Going back to the basics. It makes Mississippi read again, and it's a good thing. Shouldn't we focus on those things?
And like Mississippi, Louisiana also did a science-based reading program, ensuring that all of the teachers in Louisiana were trained on the science of reading. And we saw them jump more than any other state on the NAEP reading scores this year. So both Mississippi and Louisiana should be looked to as models, and they have the results to prove it, right? They're not just talking about doing something differently. They did it differently. They went back to basics, the phonics-based science of reading instruction, and we saw dramatic results. Every state should be following suit.
All right, Liv, your thoughts on this? I know you've got a huge opinion about this. I mean, holy shit, Gail Deese donated $51.99. Has Gail donated before?
I don't know.
You're supposed to know these
Unfortunately, Safari doesn't save the names.
I need to get a Jewish person
Chrome
doing
did.
our numbers.
Yeah, Chrome saved every name, so I knew who had donated.
Can you guys call 1-800-DUM if there's any Jews out there who are willing to run our numbers? We would appreciate it because we know how meticulous and thorough you are about numbers. Please do so. I could have said Asian. They do well too. They have calculators. Listen, I'm bad at math. I'm horrible. But remembering accounting and stuff, that's not my forte. I suck at it. I'm horrible. And I think a lot of people, pretend that Jewish people aren't great at it, but they are. And there's a reason why they are. Everyone has their skill set. White people are very good at eating barbecue and buying guns. That's what we do. Excellent at it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So my opinion, I absolutely agree with her. I think I have hated the No Child Left Behind Act since Bush put it in and since it passed and went through. I thought it was the most pointless, useless bill ever passed. I mean, it did such a disservice to our children and their futures. Because this whole No Child Left Behind Act gets us that video from a couple years ago where that kid was freaking out at Starbucks because he had to work over 20 hours. And he's freaking out over it. Oh my God, I need a raise.
Speaking of that, over 1,000 Starbucks employees walked out today on strike because they have to wear a Starbucks logoed uniform shirt now.
That's also what you get.
Yeah.
Freaking Starbucks is a little company, and that's why people go work there. But
that's what you get.
But I mean, seriously, it just pisses me off.
Well, how does it work for our school with our kids? I mean, because they come back and they go, well, I'm like, what was your score on your test? Like a C, but I get to retake it again. I'm like, what? Yeah, they're going to give me the answers I got wrong, and then I get to retake it. I'm like, what the? There's no do-overs. There's no onesie doozies and threesies.
You should have studied harder the first time.
Yeah, you failed.
I didn't get a chance to do that. It's just doing a disservice. And these kids are coming out of school thinking that they're going to get into the workforce and they're going to be able to do whatever they want And they can't. I mean, right now, the little girl I nanny, she's 3.5, and she's having a hard time realizing that she has to be patient and wait for certain things. She can't get things right away. And that when she wants something, she can't throw a fit when she has it. Like I was sitting down on a cushion today on the floor, and she wanted me to move.
Right.
I'm teaching her manners. And I said, you need to say, Miss Olivia, please, may I have your seat? And she wouldn't. And so she hit me. And she got a lesson. That's when you called.
So do I say that to you, Miss Olivia? Can I have your seat?
Sure, you can call me Miss Olivia anytime you want. But you're turning red. So
No,
I had to teach her.
I'm laughing because
Yeah, I
there's
know.
blood going to my face. I
Yeah.
don't get embarrassed about our sexual life.
But
By the way,
so
you can visit our OnlyFans at Spear and
Exactly.
Spear.
Spear and Spear. But so I had to have a talk with her, and she wasn't happy. She cried because I took away her little stuffed animal. And once she calmed down, I talked with her, but she knew she was wrong because right away she's like, oh, I'm sorry, but she's still crying. And she knew she was wrong. But it's taking that 3-year-old attitude of, I want this now. And you've got what I want. So I'm going to hurt you, or I'm going to call you names until I get what I want. These kids never learned to go past that. Right. They're perpetually 3 years old when they're 18 and 20 and 25. I mean, it just shows you the kids that were screaming and hollering that the college tuition payback was overturned, and they're freaking out now. I mean, you're the one who took out the effing loan. Pay it back. If you wanted to be a freaking artist, maybe you shouldn't have taken out the $400,000 loan to go to art school.
Oh, that's an interesting point, but that's gonna make it.
So
I got a video for that. That's coming up.
Really? I didn't even know that.
I'm gonna have to go back. Lawrence Cass says, "Hello, Olivia and him and dummies." What the fuck, Lawrence? What's up, Larry?
And him and
Him?
dummies. Oh,
Whatever.
whatever.
Here
Hi, Lawrence.
is a clip of Bill Maher, and
again, this is against.
And he is calling out the nonsense with Bernie Sanders. Look at Bernie Sanders. Every time anyone challenges Bernie Sanders, he just absolutely, his vagina just starts to tear up. And he's just like, he gets in a huff. Oh, how dare you rip on socialism. Bill Maher, red-pilled. Here it is.
And again, this is against why people sometimes, I think, question some of what you're saying. This is a survey, student loan forgiveness recipients. 73% of applicants say they are likely to spend their extra money on non-essential, including vacations, smartphone, drugs, and alcohol. They admitted that to the pollster.
Who is this pollster?
NBC News. 52% they are very likely to buy new clothing. 46% they would use the money for vacation and eat out at restaurants. This is why people have a thing about, I would never call it free money. Oh, I guess I just did. And again, this is against why people sometimes, I think.
So, I mean, let me get this straight. People who are irresponsible with their loan applications and their credit and their debt are going to be irresponsible when you give them free money that they didn't earn, and I did. Fucking shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker. You're going to put money down on a Tesla or buy a new $1,400 phone versus paying off your loans. You want to know why? Because this is their mentality. Well, I'm only going to get like $5,000 or $6,000. My loans are $200,000. Why do I should just use that $5,000, $6,000 to make myself happier. And they go out and spend the money. It's the same people that get their first big paying job. They just blow it. They don't save anything. It's not. Mental retardation is curable. It really is. Because there is mental retardation that is a physical and mental ailment that is you're incapable of restructuring cells and pathways to regenerate in an effective way so you can be what is considered normal in society. And then there's mental retardation that's self-inflicted. And that basically happens from the ages of one day after birth till about, I don't know, 23 to 27 years old, somewhere in there for women, and for guys about 46, where they wake up and they realize that they are mentally retarded and their parents were right about everything. I want to show this video real quick. I want to get a plug in for Wimkin, our good friends, and then we're going to skedaddle.
Adjusting transmitter.
Wrong.
Join Wimkin.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at Wimkin.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
It's interesting. Bill Maher graduated from the University of Retardistan. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think Bill Maher is an exceptional intellectual. I just don't agree with everything he says. But I'll be honest with you, I agree with a lot of what he says. I don't dislike Bill Maher at all. That's all. Mark Levin, someone else who I feel did not go to the University of Retardistan, but is regressing to his childhood and being a little retarded. Mark, you are a constitutionalist. And I love your brain. I have your books behind me. I've read everything you've ever written. You are someone I admire, I look up to. But dude, you're kind of being a pussy.
Who?
Mark Levin. You're gonna see in a second.
Got it.
You and Ben Shapiro. You're okay. I can't support Nick Fuentes. I can't support Jake Shields and Stu Peters and all these, and Candace Owens, who all hate Jews. But you guys are falling into the stereotypical bullshit that they're saying. You need to put America first just once. If you constantly are saying Israel, 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 and you're knocking Trump for actually doing what I'm saying, which is trying to bring peace to the Middle East, which is going to ultimately affect Israel, you're saying that ultimately you want Israel to be king. You want Israel to conquer the Middle East. And I'm here to tell you, man, it ain't going to fucking happen. If you want to be left alone, you want to have a sovereign country, and you want to live harmoniously with the Arabs, then you need to have the Arabs get out of the mentality of barbarism and get into a thought process of intellectualism and harmonious living. A symbiotic relationship with the surrounding environment that they have and the people within it. You're not going to get that by simply just saying, I wish I'm going to shit in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up first. This video, I have never been pissed at Mark Levin.
The Dumb Show. May 16th.
Can't wait till I screw up in front of Roseanne. But I've never been pissed at Mark Levin. But this video, this is stupid, okay? I guess I should have told you first and not told you all of that and waited, but here it is. Olivia, tell me what you think. And
I
please,
don't like him anyway, but
I love Mark Levin. Why don't you like Mark Levin?
I don't want to be yelled at for an hour.
Hey,
when I
don't
watch
talk
a
to me
show.
like that, Liv. I don't need your attitude,
That's all
okay?
he does is he yells at the
I could-
freaking TV. I don't want to hear it.
I could find a... Okay, here it is.
The Middle East is filled with terrorists and terrorist regimes. Americans do not like Iran and the regime that runs it. They're terrorists. They keep threatening to destroy us and our friends, the Israelis. They're trying to get nuclear weapons and put them on intercontinental ballistic missiles.
We're aware.
We reject it. I speak for tens of millions of red-blooded Americans.
Really?
I speak for Christians and Jews and others alike.
Really?
This is the view of the American people. That's number one. Americans hate Hamas. We hate terrorists, butchers, Nazis. We hate men that kill babies, that decapitate babies, that rape women and burn people alive and attack young teenagers at festivals. We hate them. We despise them. We got real questions about Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia's role in 9/11. And the more that comes out, as the FBI just released some information about 6 to 8 months ago, the worse it looks that Saudi Arabia did in fact have a hand in helping al-Qaeda attack us and kill over 2,000 of our fellow citizens. That's what we Americans reject and believe. We know who the good guys are. 80% of us support the state of Israel. our holy land for Jews and Christians. And most of us despise the terrorist and the terrorist regimes, all of which are one form of dictatorship or another. So that's the foundation. Let's begin there. If only Israel would accept the Palestinian state as a condition of Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, if that's a condition, then who cares if they join the Abraham Accords? Accept a ceasefire with Qatar-funded Hamas, so Hamas, you see, can rebuild and strike Israel again. That's not going to happen, whether Qatar likes it or not. Accept the deal with Iran that does not fully dismantle their nuclear program. That better damn well not happen either.
Making a plea to emotional arguments. There are so many things there that do not tie together. Of course we hate Hamas. Of course we hate terrorists. Of course we are not very fond of the 1991 all the way till 2003 royals of Saudi Arabia. We are not big fans, considering that Bush literally performed fellatio on all of them. I was going to say filleted. I'm like, no, that's not a word. We understand this. But the 2017 royal prince has nothing to do, and the king has nothing to do with what happened in Saudi Arabia to 9/11. We understand 17 of the hijackers were Sauds. We understand that. We understand Osama bin Laden's money was there. We understand that they were funding. We understand what happened with the Mujahideen in Iran. We understand that we created ISIS. We created Al-Qaeda. The United States, Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset. We understand all of those things. But what you don't get to do is to say that Donald Trump is too dumb and will be taken by Qatar and UAE and Saudi Arabia, when right now I'm not seeing a lot of ask from any of them. I'm just seeing a lot of money, and they're asking for the same thing that everybody wants to move their country forward. And for you to say that Muslim extremists and terrorist groups are running Saudi Arabia is a complete fabrication. And I am one of the most critical people of Muslims that I know. And I defend Jews as often as I can because, one, it's the right thing to do. Because Israel has a right to survive, and fuck Hamas. And fuck Hezbollah and the JIP and the Houthis and the IRGC. But we're not going to go to war anymore. It's Qatar or Qatar. You can say it either way. Don't want to hear it.
Mark Levin is just so freaking emotional. His entire show is run off emotions, not facts. And he yells. He's worse than a freaking menopausal woman.
This has nothing to do with him being a Jew.
No, he's freaking emotional and he yells.
But he's also an intelligent human being. And his books are exceptional. And he is probably one of the smartest constitutionalists out there. I have mad respect for him. But he's wrong here. You're literally like the climate change people. You're screaming that the sky is falling because Donald Trump is building relationships with the Sauds, with the Qatarians or the Qatarans. Mark is pissed. Why is Mark pissed? Is my question. Why? Call in, Mel. Why is Mark pissed? Do people understand that that jet that Donald Trump is going to take on ultimately was built in the United States by Boeing? It's a 747. Do we understand that this is what they do? They did it in World War II with the Nazis. They gave them Mercedes-Benz, and they would give them tanks, troops, mercenaries to fight in Gallipoli, to fight in Turkey. The Sauds and the Muslims, this is what they do. They give extravagant gifts. There's Mel. Hi, Mel. Why is Mark pissed?
Because he's just kind of at the last edge of the Hamas crap, the bullshit from the basic United States Dems and whatever about the whole Israeli thing. He's and you go. He's venting. He's absolutely just what he's doing. He's pissed. And
But why?
Why? Because I think he's just sick and tired of being sick and tired. He'll come around and put it all into whatever and put it out another outstanding book and whatever. But right now he's venting because the Hamas thing has gone on for way too long.
Then the Jews should solve it. Then Israel needs to put boots on the ground and go in and have their Vietnam.
Exactly. And I think that's part of the reason why he's as angry and pissed as he is he wants Netanyahu and them to go in, and he wanted this months ago for them to go in and finish this shit off. After not even 90 days, he wanted to drive in there, flatten it, turn it into glass, and start again.
Good.
And I think that's what his level of pissing and frustration is the lack of engagement by Netanyahu and his band of merry men not going in there and just saying, okay, we're done. And that's where I'm thinking,
but Mel,
where
even
I
if
said he's pissed.
I know, but even if they go and solve the problem of Hamas, they still have to live in a country where 98% of their neighbors are Muslim. That the entire Middle East. So listen, Mark Levin just wants reciprocity against all Muslims. Well, guess what? You're not going to get that. You're never going to settle up with Saudi Arabia. You're never going to settle up with UAE. You're not going to settle up with Qatar or Egypt or anyone else, because this has been going on for 3,000 years. It is time for peace in the Middle East, or one side to win. Listen to what I'm saying. It is time for peace in the Middle East, or for one side to win. I don't care anymore. The United States has given them $336 billion fucking dollars to solve any type of conflict that they've had over the last 68 years. It's time to have peace.
And I agree. And I know somewhere, because I've followed Mark for
me too
for centuries.
I love him. I love him.
And I'm like, he is this last unhingement in the last month or so. I think, like I said, it's the level of frustration. It's like, we're done. Just go finish it. Take the repercussions of, you're whatever, genocide, but whatever. He wanted it finished a long time ago, as everybody else has 68 years ago. Enough is enough.
I know.
And I think just from his standpoint and his age and his whatever, I'm thinking he's just done. He's just.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is the best option for Israel to get what they want. He is going to neuter Iran. They are going to absolutely castrate themselves and then thank Donald Trump for it. And if you stop Iran, you have peace in the Middle East. Let me say it again.
1,000%.
Right. So shut up, Mark. Sit down. Ben Shapiro, shut the fuck up. Talk about something else. Let Trump cook. And stop making this about your Jewish heritage and make it about being a fucking American. Shut up. Sorry. Mel, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with Ben and Mark literally turning against everything American. I understand you're Jewish. I respect it. I love it. I'm with you. I would kiss the wall. I'm down with it. I'm hip. I'm with it. I understand. But I'm an American. And I want to see them be Americans.
I'm a Canadian, and I listen to a bunch of shows on Sirius, and one of them on the whatever is Mark. And in this last month, it's like and he starts and like, I can't listen to you because you've lost your toque right now. Like you've lost your real, like you've gone over the whatever. He'll come back.
I know
I know he
that,
will.
but
He always does. But like
Donald
right now,
Trump doesn't need that right now. What Donald Trump needs now is Israel to shut up for a minute and let him cook.
Exactly. And I've said that for the longest time. Well, especially when he got back in, I'm like, oh, goody. Because we're going to finally get, and that's why I put the comment that DJT is not going to get the Nobel Peace Prize because the world ain't going to give it to him. But he deserves it in spades because I guarantee you this is going to fix it. Like, I have no doubt in my military mind at all.
Mel, it's not going to fix it. It is going to turn Muslims against the right type of people versus religious sects. Hold on. Instead of going after the Shiite or the Sunni or the Kurds, now they can stop and focus on eradicating extreme Muslims from their states. State-funded terror, and they go after and eradicate them from their country because that's what's going to happen. If they want to join Western civilization, if they want a seat at the table, if they want to be considered for the UN, if this is what they actually want, which they do desperately, maybe not Iran, maybe not Egypt, maybe not Lebanon, but everyone else pretty much in that area does because they understand that this constant contrition is going to make them irrelevant until finally somebody says, we're going to treat you just like we treated Iraq. They know that's coming, so they have to get a seat at the table. The only way you do that is to stop fighting holy wars and start eliminating the criminal element of your states. That is where he is, and that means peace in Israel. That means they will castrate Iran, they will isolate Egypt, isolate Lebanon, and they eventually will come and change too, or they will starve to death and have the same fate of the Gazans.
And that's true because I think it was two days ago. Yeah, I finally got my cast off, so
good.
I can drive now. So
nice.
I can listen to Sirius XM in my car. So I had turned on Mark as I was coming back from the grocery store, and he actually in that episode was really, really drilled back down to where the problem lies and was giving the root cause of where the disconnect is between the Muslim Islamic like whatever and how it's come to whatever. And he was quoting a book, and I didn't, well, of course, because I couldn't write it down because I was
you didn't
driving,
have an arm.
whatever. But I'm going to go back. I'll go back and I'll listen to it and find out the book. Is this Muslim who goes, and he wrote this book a few years back, and apparently, and I really got to read it because after listening to just the 15 minutes that I did, I went, the guy nailed it. Because there's two facets to this Islamic, whatever. 99% of the Muslims aren't jihadists. They aren't whatever. They don't believe whatever. But back in the 60s, and this is where this guy went back with his book and detailed about how this and the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and whatever has been trying to circumvent the Muslim religion. And that's where the problem lies. Like, it's within their own community that this jihadi, whatever, and how they're trying to interpret the Quran in their view and then punishing the ones that are we just want to pray to the east 3, 5, 6 times a day, blah, put our carpets down, do whatever, do our normal, and be peaceful, whatever. But there's this group, and it's expanding, but it's so yeah. I got to find the name of the book.
Yeah, I'd love to read it because I fortunately spent a lot of time spending my life within Middle Eastern politics because not only was it an AOR of mine, I care about it. But Mel, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to wrap this up. I love you. Send it to me, and I'll read it. Okay.
Okay.
You gonna be there?
Find it.
You gonna be there Friday?
Oh, of course I'll be there Friday.
Can't wait to see you. Love you. Talk to you.
Love you.
Thanks, Mal.
Bye. Listen, I'm gonna wrap, put a bow on this. JD, thank you, JD. Have a great night. Appreciate you, buddy. 1459. That puts us over 500. That means so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. What a great night. Most of the Muslims in the world today are not extremists. They don't want death to America. They just want to live their lives. They want to take care of their families. They want to go to work. They want to do their thing. I am not going to defend terrorists, and I'm not going to defend terrorist states. They should be fully hunted down and eradicated from the earth, full stop, period. And the people who should do that are the states that they harbor in. Saudi Arabia should hunt down every ISIS, Al-Qaeda, ISIS-K, whatever, and eradicate them from the planet. We will get there. Because a lot of these governments are being held hostage by these terrorist groups. And you have to literally cut them out from the core. The last point I want to make is, which is surprising to me, that you're still blaming Donald Trump for your failure of your own people. Greg Ward says, just like Canada didn't need Donald to inject himself in our election, then maybe Trudeau should have shut his fucking mouth. And your people should have shut their fucking mouth about the stolen election in 20 and in 2016 railing against Donald Trump and sending money into these campaigns and sabotaging him on the world stage with China. Fuck you, Greg. You're annoying as fuck. I've had about enough of your anti-fucking American sentiment. You can go fuck yourself. Donald Trump didn't cost your election. It's your fucking feckless people who don't have the moral conviction to stand up and fight against liberalism. Your country was servitude to kings and queens. We learned that shit in 1786. 1786. 76 was the beginning. 1786 was the end. So, with respect, dude, I'm sick and tired of your whining and you might want to get out of the room. Sick of your whining and crying. Donald Trump did not cost Canada the election. You did. Your people did. Donald Trump did not cast a vote. You put up a candidate that did not resonate with the people. You put up a candidate who was 100% a Trump supporter and then went ahead and turned to save face, and Canadians saw it. I am not an expert on Canadian politics, but I am an expert on liberals and weakness. And your country has been infected by that leftist ideology for a lot longer than Donald Trump coming down that staircase. And I'm just about sick and fucking tired of you blaming him for the ineptitude of your own people. Take some responsibility. Be a man. Or continue to cry about it. I don't fucking care. Justin Trudeau pissed on the United States every chance he got, and he stabbed Trump in the back every chance he got. That's the truth. So maybe before you start whining and crying about us interfering in your election because he said something, he said some mean things, you sound like a liberal. I don't like Trump because he says mean things. Well, I just said mean things. You not like me now? You need to move on. You need to be focused on getting your people in a grassroots campaign and getting as many people to listen to what you're trying to say and make a movement. Make your own podcast. Get off mine. Because I'm not anti-Canada, dude. I'm anti-crying and bitching about something that isn't the reason why you lost. Poilievre's numbers were going down for almost a year. He had an initial spike and then tanked. And I already showed it on my show. Long before Donald Trump took office. And if it was Donald Trump, well, then why didn't they go ahead and put Republicans? And why did they vote Republican to create a balanced non-majority in your country? Why didn't they give him unfettered power if it was Trump? And why is he in the White House sucking on Donald Trump's hind parts? last week. I thought he said, we will not negotiate with the United States. We will not compromise. Canada will not relent. What happened to that shit? He certainly fucking polished him off. Isn't that what Carney just did? Why don't you guys hold him accountable? Why don't you vet on him instead of vetting on my president? You're the one who's crying like a bitch. It's not me. He gave a change in narrative. If your people are too stupid to understand that, then that's not my fault. That's not his fault. You're telling you that somebody voted for out of their own self-interest because Donald Trump said mean stuff. Trudeau interfered from 2016 to 2020, a fucking knucklehead. You were involved and have been involved for a lot longer than Donald Trump did. Look what Trudeau did sucking up to Joe Biden. Look at how many times Trudeau stood up and said that we have the safest and fairest free elections in the United States. How many times he sucked up to China and backstabbed and went ahead and was playing both sides and both parties. How he invited the United Nations in your country. How he took guns from you. How he took your rights. And you're blaming Donald Trump because your country has been literally treating you guys like shit for how long? Censoring the people, running you over with horses and mounties, seizing your money, taking your frickin' amendment rights when it comes to guns and protecting yourselves and your families. And you're blaming Donald Trump? Sure, you're anti-amendment. You're trashing the president of my country. And even if it was Biden, I'd tell you to shut up. Trudeau pissed on the United States every chance he got. And you're sitting here and complaining that Donald Trump said, hey, here's my opinion. I didn't complain that Levin is taking off on Trump. I'm saying he's complaining about taking off on Trump's policies. That's not the same thing. He needs to let the man do his work. He has literally defended Donald Trump on every single thing. And as soon as Donald Trump doesn't kiss the pucker of Benjamin Netanyahu and says, hey, knock it off a little bit, Mark Levin turns on him in a New York Minute. Sorry, dude, don't agree with that. His administration, his policies are working. What he's doing is working. If we listened to the left and listened to the media, we wouldn't have inflation dropping. We wouldn't have eggs dropping. We wouldn't have commodities dropping for the first time. Energy prices, $2.50 on a national average. Our border wouldn't be secure. We wouldn't be out of the Paris Climate Accords. We would literally be funding Iran's nuclear program. Listen to the man. He knows what he's doing. So when you sit here and say, well, you're saying that Mark Levin shouldn't talk shit about Trump. No, Mark Levin should shut up and let Trump do his job. That's my point. He had to let us have an election without his 2 cents. Why? Your people didn't do it. Your prime minister didn't. Why the fuck should we not have a say? You're a hypocrite, dude. You're being a hypocrite. JD, Pierre did not do the legwork. Many podcasts reach out and he turned them down. He was afraid of the liberal media, in my opinion, from the info. Oh, for you to sit here and say that Poilievre lost the election because of what Donald Trump said a month before the election, maybe 60 days.
The cop-out.
Is like saying that climate change is real because there are hurricanes. Politicians and world leaders talk about other countries. And if your entire argument is that Canada lost Poilievre because of one thing Donald Trump said, well, 2, 51st state, and then said, well, maybe we want to have a Democrat instead. If that's what you think, then you've never watched my show. Or you've never listened or took anything from it. I will allow people to criticize Trump. You're not going to criticize my country. I don't give a fuck how friendly my gay North Dakotan up there is. I love you, Greg. But I think you are literally pissing and moaning for your own inequities. This is your country. Be responsible. Donald Trump did not cost him the election. Like I said, his poll numbers were dropping long before Donald Trump took office. That's it. Inserting into another election? What are you talking about? So what you're saying is that Donald Trump should never speak about another country again. That's what you think? The world leader, the United States of America, which is the number one if we haven't proved that now, we are the number one superpower. From a military standpoint and soon to be an economic standpoint, yet again. From a manufacturing standpoint, you don't want the president of the United States to have an opinion. I'm sorry. Welcome to free speech. You sound like Trudeau. Maybe you want Trudeau back.
Sounds like England.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, maybe the Royals will take Canada because the French aren't doing a very good job. Maybe the England's available. Sounds like they're looking for another country to assert power from the people. Freedom of speech, man. President Trump gets to say whatever the hell he wants. Did I say what he said was smart? No, but he has a right to say it. But I don't think half the shit that Carney has said and Polyev said, I watched your debates, I don't think any of them are truly smart. I think the Canadian people are disenfranchised. I think you guys are 10 years ahead of us. And if we don't stop it, we're going to be just like Canada soon. And I don't want to do that. You guys are moving so far left that you don't even recognize what moderate is anymore. We're not going down the same way. We can't. We can't. I'm just sick and tired of you blaming Trump for the election. You know, it's not even blaming Trump. Blame Trump. But also blame the other things that you don't mention. You know what I mean? Mention the things that you don't. Jordan Peterson, Thomas Scholl, Glenn Beck, Mr. Wonderful all agree he altered the election. Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck, the guy who's called that the end of the world is going to happen for the last 20 years. Pretty much every other Sunday. Glenn Beck, the one that said the Baltimore, Maryland bridge dropping in the United States was an attack by China and a cyber attack. Glenn Beck, the one who actually said that the Kennedy files said something that they didn't. Just because somebody says something with prominence doesn't make them right. Once again, I will say it again. Donald Trump may have altered your election. Fine. But the question is, why are Canadians so easily influenced as to change their well-being and their benefit to be spiteful to the American president? How stupid is that move? And if that's what you're saying, then you're not friends of America. You're not friends to our country. You are literally opportunists. And when things get bad, you turn on your friends. Donald Trump has never been an enemy to Canada. USMCA was one of the fairest trade deals that was so lopsided, and he did that for your country, and you shat all over him. We have protected you. We have defended you. We have kept Russia out of your backyard. Hell, we bought a giant landmass just to ensure that you had a buffer zone. So, you know, you guys are a lot like the English sometimes. You don't know how good you have it. Because we have a paid-for media. That's Donald Trump's fault, huh? Donald Trump, by saying Canada's 51st state, your media literally sold out. That's what happened. Wow, that's amazing. What power he has. He should just say, hey, hey, Hamas, stop attacking. He should do what Biden did and just go, hey, stop. Don't. If he has that much power, just to have your entire state media sell out because he says a few words, hell, man, can he get me a couple million maybe? Your arguments are not coherent. They're emotional. You're just like Levin. Calm down. Go get a beer. Relax. The masses don't see or why things are going. Then that's your fault. Start a podcast, Greg. Start educating people. Why are you blaming Trump? Because your people can't see the forest through the trees, because your people are blind. That's not my fault. That's not Trump's fault. That's your fault. That's your country. You allowed these people to take over your country. So did we. We're stopping it. What are you doing? Greg, So last thing, and then I'm done. You say no. You're saying people should know. The masses are not open to free information. Then how do you know? Then how do you know? What makes you so special? That you're the purveyor of knowledge. Well, you seek it out. And you say, I don't need to listen to the media. I know when they're trying to take my guns, or they're seizing my accounts, or they're stopping free speech, or they're taxing us into literally poverty, or they're saying that the dream of Canada is better than anywhere else, when it's a lie, when they're pontificating, when they can't get houses and they can't get a place of their own. They can't afford to live where they're at because I look for it. Well, then, dude, Greg, I don't know what to tell you. Your argument, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Joe, you make it sound like Canadians are lemmings. You guys sound like, you know what you sound like? You sound like lefties that are saying black people can't vote because they would have to get an ID, that black people are too dumb to get an ID. You're just telling me that Canada, your people are too dumb to understand that someone's stepping on their neck. Well, if that's the case, then you deserve what you get. I'm sorry. How am I love my Canadian people. I've never have a Canadian trash us like you do. Get over it. You're going to have to work with Trump, dude, or I'm telling you, you're going to have a civil war in your country. You're going to have to figure out and figure out where your loyalties lie. And if you're looking for the government that's oppressing you to solve the problem of oppression, then you need to open up a history book and read more about the United States and stop watching my show. If you're waiting for the people oppressing you to stop oppressing you, you got a long wait. No election's going to fix it. That's it, dude. Mad respect to you, bro, but stop shitting in my channel when it comes to Trump. Free speech. That's what we can do here. I can say it right to you. Right back at you. Liv?
Yes.
Get us out of here. Let's go home.
We are home, but yes. Let's go.
Let's get out of Mom's basement.
The living room. So please share our show. Facebook has taken away 150 followers over the last few days. Not sure why, but
we don't know why. They just did it.
We've just dropped. We were like 150 away from hitting 240, and we are now 400 away from hitting 240. So
no, we're lower than that. They've taken away like 300 because this is stuck now.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, but yes, share us out to your friends and family, and please join us for the show on Friday. It's going to be awesome. And thank you, everyone, for donating. Appreciate it.
Greg says, I've not trashed America or Trump, but I have spoken out against that action. When you accuse my president of altering and interfering in your election, that's trashing. Do you think with Trump, you would know better, right? That's probably one of the worst things you could ever say about Trump, because that's one of the things that he had done to him in a different way than you're espousing, but it's still election interference. Election interference is a serious crime. And you're saying that Donald Trump altered and lost the election and stole it from the Canadian people.
I would assume that if he was going to do that, he would steal it for the Republican side or whatever your political parties are called, not the liberal side. That's just my thought, because I would assume that the right side of the government in Canada is going to be a lot easier to work with than the left liberal side. So he didn't do a very good job in freaking taking over the election.
It's stating a fact and opinion. Those are mutually exclusive things. Facts and opinion are antithetical of each other. No, when you say it's stating fact / opinion, you're saying they're synonymous. They're not. Facts and opinion have nothing to do together. Nothing. It's either factual or it's an opinion. You want to express your opinion, then say it's your opinion. You're trying to state fact that Donald Trump altered the Canadian election and interfered with your election. You're stating fact. Now you want to say it's your opinion. Oh, well, then I'm done and we're good and we can go home. You're saying it's fact.
Can I have Tums, please?
And that's not true. Is Mel Losa here? Does Canada have an electoral college type voting system?
Also, if you have questions for any of the guests on
Friday's
show, please email them to me, Olivia@thedumshow.com. Make sure that you specify which guest that you would like the question or comment directed at,
Yeah.
please, and get them to me by Friday morning so I can go through all of them.
I don't think Canada has an electoral college. I think Canada has a winner-take-all based system on popular vote. Both are true. Prove it. Give me factual evidence, exculpatory evidence that Donald Trump's statement was the number one reason people did not vote for Poilievre. Show me. Link your source. Cite your source. Cite your fact. Cite your source. I'm waiting. Cite your source. Show me actual exit polls that demonstrate that the number one reason that they did not vote for Poilievre was because of what Donald Trump said. Show me it.
What did Donald Trump say anyway?
He said that he wanted to make Canada the 51st state.
I thought that was aimed at Trudeau.
Oh my God, do you want to know or do you just want to interrupt me?
Yes.
That he wanted to make Canada the 50th, sorry. It's a long night. I'm a little fucking perturbed. 51st state, and also said that, well, maybe we should just go ahead and put the Democrats or a liberal in if Republicans aren't going to go ahead and work with us. It's paraphrasing.
Gotcha. I thought that was aimed at Trudeau.
Greg, I'm waiting for your exculpatory evidence. They allowed the media to trash Trump, politicians trash Trump over the 51st state. You guys don't like Trump, now you fall behind. Yeah, well, and this is just bad for Canada. It's going to be bad for Canada. It's not that you have to kiss the ring and show fealty. Just stay out of our shit and we'll stay out of yours. Because it was used in the idiotic elbows up anti-American BS. I never agree. I don't know what that means. You're not, so you have emotion. So it's an opinion. Okay, well, just say, I'm emotional. I have an opinion. There's no fact with what I'm saying. This is what I think. And then we're good. You can think whatever you want. You don't get to come in here and say it's fact. You're just like everybody else. How have you not learned about my show? I'm not going to allow you to come in here and say your opinion is fact. If you can't back it up and give me the numbers, which they don't exist, bro, I know, because they still don't have all the exit poll data. They still have not tabulated. This is going to be looked at for at least a year. And you're really not going to get an accurate picture. But most of it came down to nationalism. Most of it came down to is that they did not like or know about Poilievre's policies and felt that they were more radical than what they were willing to do. It changed the direction of, no, it didn't. Show me the polling data that it changed the election. Show me the polling data. Are you going to deny that Poilievre's numbers have literally been dropping since November? You're going to, almost a year. You're going to sit here and, oh, geez, man, I just give me a minute. It's worth it. It's a $500 night. It's ridiculous that I have to do this because I've already done this. Okay, buddy. There you go. Favorability of conservative leader Pierre Poilievre over time. Look at March 25th. This is the favorability versus unfavorability. The favorables went down. His unfavorables went up all the way back to September of 2022. We're fairly flat, 51, 54, 51, 59. Lowest dip was 49. That was October of 23rd. This is when he started making challenges in the House. I don't know what you call your House, Parliament, whatever it is. And you saw him increase 50, 52, 51. But then his unfavorables increased. And it started right here in December 2024 and January 2024, where his unfavorables went up and got all the way up to 57% and then dipped from a 40% high and went down to 35%. That's a 23-point swing in unfavorables that had nothing to do with Donald Trump. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're just plain fucking wrong. You're just wrong, dude. Did it help? No. But look at your polling. They said Harris was going. Okay, you're fucking done, dude. You're just the result. If they would have said Harris was going to win and then Harris won, you could make that argument. What you're saying is that the polling, which predicted Poilievre was going to lose, and he did, that's your argument. Our polling sucks because they lie and say something's going to happen that doesn't happen. Your polling got it fucking right, and you just can't accept it. And now you're going to pull the, boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo, and I'm not going to listen to you because I got a force field because your numbers are demonstrating exactly what I said. By the way, that's the Angus Reid Institute who did that. Federal vote intention decided voters. CPC is the blue line, dropped to 37%. NDP, BQ, Green, and other liberal jumped. That jump started in December 2024. Donald Trump wasn't even president in December 2024. Then to January, when he took office, you already saw a 16 to 29%, a 13% lift, and that trend continued as overall support dropped. Is that more bad polling? I don't care what the Canadian media did. You're saying that Donald Trump, when all of the polling showed for almost a year that overall conservative support was dropping like a rock from favorability standpoints, and liberal was moving up, that was Donald Trump's fault. And the data does not show that. The data doesn't show that. So you can agree that's an opinion. I agree with Greg because it's an emotional opinion and I agree with it. That's awesome. Great. You can have that. A lot of people have emotional opinion. I'm not saying that the United States shit doesn't stink. We voted for Biden. We had Kamala Harris a cunt hair away from actually taking the presidency. What I'm saying is I didn't blame Canada for it. I didn't blame Canada for 2020, no matter how much shit Trudeau talked, no matter how much Merkel talked, no matter how much Germany and France and Macron and England talked. I didn't blame those countries. I blamed us. We were at fault. We didn't show up. And they also went ahead and interjected 50 million ballots by using emergency measures, but it's neither here nor there. See, the funny thing is you're not even saying it's stolen. You're not even saying anything. You're saying Donald Trump is to blame for why Poilievre lost. And that is, you're just not going to make that stick. I don't care what Glenn Beck says, because I promise you this, Glenn Beck doesn't have the data, because there isn't any that says that. You have what I would call toxic shock without the tampon.
I'm going to skedaddle.
Bye.
I got stuff I got to get done.
Love you. Thanks, honey. You got toxic, thank you, baby. You got toxic shock over this, dude. You're still in shock. You're upset. You have every right to be. I'm empathetic with your being upset. What I'm not okay with is you sitting here and blaming Trump for the election loss. I'm not cool with that. Because it's not true. Conservative had a 90-ish. I don't buy that. But if there wasn't a Trump effect, it would have been different. Lib voters jumped when Trudeau dropped out. Libs wanted Trudeau gone. And they didn't come home because Poilievre didn't make himself available. It's my understanding is that, or the media, blame the media then. Here's the thing. You have so many things you can blame. You can blame a disenfranchised population. You can blame a segmented population, that there's too many choices, that it's confusing. You could say that Poilievre did not do a good job selling himself. You can say that there was third-party opposition that pulled votes away from him. You can say that his numbers dropped over time, which they did. I just showed it to you. You can say sorts of things. Instead, you say Donald Trump said a mean sentence, and therefore they abandoned their own self-interest. Mel said it best. Lib voters jumped when Trudeau dropped out. Libs wanted Trudeau gone. Once he was gone, they had a secondary option. And here's Carney. What? Yeah.
Yeah, our 14-year-old daughter gets.
Well, and Jessica makes a good point. She said Trump was responding to the trend. There's been a lot of, what was it, Calgary or Alberta, whatever, who said that, you know, a lot of their population wanted to break away. Listen, this is nothing new. It's nothing new. Canada has been divided for a long time. I told you guys are 5-10 years ahead of us. We're going down that trajectory. And without Trump, we would probably be there with Kamala. You would have a utopia. Trudeau probably wouldn't have dropped out. He wouldn't have, I don't know. Maybe he would have. I don't know. I don't care. The point is when you're right. Mel said it. When Trudeau left, you saw a huge drop. Polyev stopped because of everything Carney and Trudeau got him to say in the last 2 weeks. Well, I know that. Yeah, I agree. And I wrecked Polyev with his LGBT scandals. Greg has TDS and he needs help. No, okay, I'll defend Greg. Greg doesn't have TDS. I'm not upset. I'm pissed that we're stuck again. It's going to get worse. That's just, yeah, but don't blame me and don't blame President Trump. Greg does not have TDS. Greg is pissed because his country is, I've said this the whole time in this conversation. He's pissed that his country is in turmoil, that it's going down the fucking toilet. He sees the United States doing well, and they are. Let's be honest. Trump is having massive success in his first 100 days. This doesn't feel good. And Greg probably would say, I wish Trump would have actually put out an olive branch and done what Polyev couldn't do and helped Polyev campaign and get a voice and not create a distraction. That's fair. That's fair. That's not what you're saying. You're saying Donald Trump interfered and circumvented your election. That's what you said. And that's not true. Good night, Lawrence. Greg Ward agreed, but blame Metro, Ontario, the territories, the East Coast. Yeah, well, that's my point. See, that's the thing, is blame the leftists and liberals. Good, we agree. I mean, that's my point. There are a lot of things that you could say that I would agree with. I'm not going to agree with that. The election was not decided by Donald Trump. The election was decided by your corrupt media, your feckless leaders and politicians, leftist impurity inside your government, socialism and progressivism, which is taking over your country, and overall a tyrannical government, which is stepping on the throats of its people and their freedoms. That's the failure. But here's what I will say again. If Donald Trump's a cheat and he's a rapist and he's a Nazi and he's a scandalous and he grabs him by the pussy and he's a Russian asset, how bad must Kamala Harris as a candidate have been? And my point is, if you're getting your neck stepped on, your guns taken away, you can't afford a home, you can't find good work, you're constantly battling, you're struggling with everything that would be a free society, how bad must your candidate have been? Okay. That statement I can get behind because this statement is factual. I'm actually still pro-Trump, but I'm still pissed Trump injected himself. It was used by our sheep. Thank you very much. Have a good fucking night. I'll let you take the W because that is the right statement because it's factual. Absolutely, they used it against Polyev, but Polyev killed himself. And he did a lot of things and did a lot of nothing as well. Guns in Niagara, they didn't take our guns. They didn't put regulations on 9mm. They didn't put regulations on semi-automatics. Really? That's all a lie? Help me understand that. I saw legislation that was proposed by Trudeau and was actually implemented. Is that wrong? Am I wrong? Gordon Fiala? May 1st, 2020, assault-style firearms ban. Canadian government prohibited 1,500 models of assault-style firearms. There's no such thing as an assault-style firearm, including variants of the AR-15, citing use in mass shooting. National handgun freeze, October 22. Justin Trudeau, I remember this. I covered it. Canada implemented a national freeze on sale, purchase, transfer, importation of handguns by individuals. This freeze was later codified in the law. Codified in the law, that means it's law. It's legislation. BC Bill C-21, which received royal assent in December 2023. The freeze effectively prohibits individuals from acquiring new handguns with limited exceptions for certain professionals in sporting. Amnesty and buyback programs. Amnesty periods, individual business and lawfare, December 2024 to 2025, allowing them time to comply with the law or into a criminal liability if they do not sell. That sounds like forced contrition. Buyback program, government intends to provide fair compensation to affected owners, fair compensation, like the same people that confiscate land for literally 10% of what it's worth. Sounds like Canada banned plenty of guns. What are you fucking talking about? They didn't take any semi-auto shotgun. Did you want to go ahead and buy a bicycle that goes in reverse, or did you just want to go ahead and pedal fastidiously? Huh? It's an uneducated American, I know. It's hard. There's not many of us. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We're back tomorrow. Can't wait to have you. Gordon, come around a while. You'll like the show. It's fun here. We have a good time. We like to work on things like facts, stuff like that. You know, facts. I'm sorry, Greg Ward, I said that, but even if Trump said that, it was your citizens listening to the media like we have down here. True. One thing I think is hard to understand is how much everything is influenced on Canada. America doesn't have the same effect by Canada. No, we don't. Because we're free. Because we care about the rights of the individual, not the collective, not the massive, and not the opinion of a bunch of fucking people who aren't Americans. That's what nationalism is about. And it's fucking star-spangled awesome, baby. And whenever our chips are down, we always fucking ante up and get back in the game. That's what's great about America. Until we don't, and the day we don't, I will lament. But that is not today, my friend. We will not go gently to that good night. All right, folks, good night. See ya. Hey, thanks for an amazing night. He fell into the trap. Trump didn't. I haven't seen Trump fall into a trap. Have you ever seen Trump fall into a trap? I sure haven't. Folks, I got to go. It's 2200. It's 10 o'clock. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You guys like the new lighting? Added a little bit of purplish, bluish, reddish. Good stuff. Ow. How can I have a closing that was so good and then I can't put those fucking things on? Tomorrow night, no Leroy. It's just me. I'm giving them off. But Friday night, Damani Felder, Roseanne Barr, Laura Logan, Chris Tanto Prado, T.S. Dixon, Lisa Regina, Jason Shepard, Barry Morgenstein, Ryan Samuels. Amazing night. All here for you. Yeah, but your beer is still puss. Molson. Okay, you win. I'm a Guinness guy, so I don't know. I'm not an American beer fan. Pierre, okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Love you guys. Hey, thanks for the donations. Remember, folks, don't forget. Be here Friday. It's going to be a great show. 6 to 11. I love that we can argue and call each other names a little bit. Greg, I love you. You know I do. If I saw you, I'd put my arms around you. I'd let you cry on my shoulder. Anybody who has a beard like that deserves to be cuddled with. There's no disrespect here. It's just I disagree with you with facts. Do the same. Good night, everybody. God bless. And Gordon, come back to the show. We would appreciate you coming back, even though you're wrong about the guns. See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.